So, hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a great Sunday. I know I am. Welcome to the Demetra K Show, because if it's Sunday, it must be the Demetra K Show, right? So, welcome to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because this is probably one of the only shows that reads each and every comment, question, or concern, because we feel like you should be heard as well. It's much your show as it is ours. Also, like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, where he sits here with me on every show and we discuss everything along with you. Also, like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton, who does everything he needs to do behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go further. And we are today going to discuss that of Roland Martin. You guys might have seen him come unglued. He's always unfiltered, right? But he has some things to say about a couple of people in what we call the new black media community. And so we're going to get into that. But before we do, Donovan, what say you?
Well, happy holidays or whatever else is going on, partying, graduations, you name it. It is going on in the black community. High today of 91 here in Southern California. I know it's high in Texas, so they got like a general heat wave going on, which is kind of good, but you guys have humidity there. But do us a favor, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, and even become a member if you're interested. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on coming down the pipe. I am still locked out of my account on Facebook, so bear with us on that. But do us a favor to help me to help you guys. Share this media on your platforms so to get the algorithms up and all that other stuff that we need to do to get this message out there, because what we're talking about today actually has to do with the new black media and some of these paid agents that are out there like Roland Bowling Ball Martin and going out. They are doing everything that they can to, keep the message from getting out there and waking you guys up. So it's going to be a good topic. So let's get into it.
So hello, everybody, again. All right, so let me go ahead and get to you guys' comments before we get started, so that way we don't get too far behind. So who do we have here? We have Monet. What's going on with you? Monet? Yeah, you say it's 6:06, so you're an hour ahead of us, Eastern Standard Time. Good evening, gorgeous Demetra and wonderful Donovan. I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful Sunday. It's cold. Really? It's cold as hell here in Michigan. Much Detroit love to you both. Well, much love to you as well. It's hot here. It's almost 90 degrees in Houston. So big contrast. Tawana, how you doing? And the Pioneer, what's going on with you? Says, good afternoon, beautiful queen and king. Yes, indeed. And Terry, how you doing? You like that, huh? Unfiltered and unglued. Mr. Reggie, what's going on with you? Says, greetings, global black family. Yes, indeed. And Coobler, how are you? Right on time as always. And morning, you say, are you talking to the Pioneer? And Terry says, freaking snowing here. Really? Dang. You also say the Pioneer, if it's Sunday, it must be the Demetra K Show. Laugh out loud. I love it. I've come to look forward to this show for kicking off the week. I am so happy to hear that. And Marty says, Donovan, I would love you to give some specific ideas for your show. I hope that you will sue this woman that hit you in the head and cause that flag to hit you. She needs to be sued. She did that deliberately. Yes, indeed. And Terry says, nice, hot, 26 degrees. Eesh. Kenitra, how you doing? Says, hello, ma'am and sir, and back at you. And the Pioneer says, I think there should be more viewers. However, the more people come to the channel, then the less attention each viewer will get. So it's a trade-off. There you go. Hey, Perry, how you doing? He says, it's cold here in Chesapeake, Virginia. Really? Wow, we are roasting here. All right, so who else do we have here? Jerome, how are you? I'm going to get into it. He said, what did Roland do? And Terry says, I hear you, brother Pioneer. So, okay. So there is this video going on. As you guys know, Roland Martin is on YouTube and his show is Unfiltered with Roland Martin or something like that. So there's a clip going around of him, pretty mad at a few people. And I'm not going to play the video because, he might see this and try to get a copyright claim and all that other stuff. So you guys can go find it. But I'm going to tell you what was said as best I can, right? So he had a couple of people on his show, look like some regular people. And he was calling out people. And so he called out Jason Black, Antonio Moore, Yvette Carnell, Boyce Watkins, I say Dr. Boyce Watkins, and Vicky Dillard, those in the new black media, for not going out and supporting Gary Chambers. So I'm not really for sure all that transpired. Perhaps some of those people were, saying something about Gary Chambers. Now, who is Gary Chambers? Gary Chambers is running for the U.S. Senate in Louisiana. He came to, I guess, stardom, if you will, when he went to, I think it was some sort of a city council meeting, and he made his voice be heard about things that were not getting done, I guess, in this area. And so from that point, he has kicked off a major bid to become a senator there in Louisiana. And so Roland Martin says, I'm just going to call these people out, right? And so he called these people out. He says, where's you guys? Are you guys taking your show to Louisiana to help register Black voters? If you're not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And then he also says something very mean about, Miss Vicky Dillard, says something about her hair. And he basically said, I'm taking my show and, out there to go register Black voters, right? So Donovan, you're kind of breaking up a little bit, but I think you know that. So, he was like, I'm taking my show out there. Basically, if y'all not taking y'all show out to Louisiana to help register Black voters, and he's running as a Democrat, to register Black voters, they basically shut the hell up, right? So it's nothing new. We've heard Roland Martin disparage that of the new Black media and telling us to shut up and we don't know what we're talking about. And he's been here for a very long time. And, he's about that life and stuff. And so I have taken Roland Martin to task, if you will, if that's something I can even do. I've mentioned him a couple times in my videos before because to me, it's more or less like, okay, Roland, it's not a secret that you are paid by, the Democrats, or as we learned, the census paid him some money. And so he's getting some money from them people, if you will, right? To spew the talking points of the Democrats. We've seen him cry at the voting polls, and we've seen him dance with Hillary Clinton. And, he's accused of giving answers to that of Donna Brazile, who also gave them to Hillary Clinton allegedly. And so he's in like playing for the Democratic Party. So anytime somebody, usually somebody from the new Black media, says something about a Democrat or Joe Biden or Kamala or whoever it is, he comes and puts on his cape around his neck. Y'all do what y'all want to do with that. And then he goes to the defense of, the Democrats and calling names. Now, in all fairness, people call him names too. So I don't want to be, disingenuous, but he does not like when people call the Democrats or, or the Biden administration, whoever's in office, to task, right? Like we know that Black people have been asking for tangibles, not symbolism. We have been asking for tangibles and we have not gotten tangibles. They give us these little bitty things like, that of the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's going through the Senate confirmation. They gave the Crown Act. They gave the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act and, a few other little things here and there. But we also know that that's the little carrot on the string. So when the midterm elections come, they could say, well, we did do something. Remember, Joe Biden said he was going to stand by you, and he did. He did that. But we also heard that Ukrainians, 100,000 of them will be coming to America, and there will be $1 billion plus given in resources to them because of the war with Russia and Ukraine, right? And we've seen that with, Afghans and, a whole bunch of immigrants come over here and get a bunch of stuff. But we're told as Black people, when we asking for reparations, there is no money, or we don't know where to get the money from. Now, I should also say that Roland Martin called out FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, Black First, and the ADOS movement. He called all of those people out. And so I find that very problematic that he is asking people to go register more Black people to vote to go get more of nothing, right? And so I also went on to Roland Martin's page, and he's talking about reparations. Well, why aren't y'all basically, in a paraphrase at the point, calling the GOP, the Republicans, to the carpet about reparations? Like, because we don't disproportionately, overwhelmingly give the Republicans our vote. We do that for the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party stands up there election after election and lie to Black people and say they're going to do stuff, and they don't. And Roland Martin is one of those people that, Dr. Claude Anderson calls an exceptional Negro. He's got his butter biscuits, if you will. And so he thinks that he can, talk down on other people and act as the authority figure. But it's like, no, yeah, you got your 30 pieces of silver, but the rest of us want what's due us, and you don't get to decide that for us. And shame on you for getting mad for. Now, I don't agree with all these people that he, named. I'm not, a whole fan of a lot of their platforms, but I think we in the new Black media are on the same page in that we want tangibles regardless, right? And so we're going to get into that. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Donovan, you kind of freezing up a little bit. So what say you? You're going to have to plug your internet in, brother. You're going to have to plug your internet in. So anyway, Donovan, yeah, you're freezing up. You're going to have to plug your internet.
I can't plug it in. Yeah.
Can you go on your phone by any chance? Anyway, I'll get to the comments while Donovan is trying to figure out his situation because you're going in and out. All right, so who else came on here while I was running my mouth? All right, so Rain, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. The morning says Demetri and Donovan need to come here. So you know what it feels like to be 18 degrees where it can stay all of March, April, and May. How you doing? I love you guys both, and I support you beyond 100. Well, one day I'll make a trip there, but I'm not a fan of 18-degree weather. And Beverly, how you doing? The Pioneer says, I don't even know who Gary Chambers is. Well, a lot of people don't, but I want to say he came to prominence maybe in the last 2 years or so. And so he is running for Senate in Louisiana, and he's got a lot of backing. And so that's where Roland Martin was calling people to the carpet. Like, are you going to take your show down there and register Black people to vote? But the question is for what, right? What, you know, I don't know. Gary Chambers, he seems like he's on the level, but they all seem like they're on the level, right? So what are we going to register Black people for? To get more of nothing? I don't know. Y'all tell me. And one who cares, how you doing? He says, happy Sunday, Demetri, Donovan, and chat. Yes, indeed. And Mr. D's news says Gary Chambers has no chance of winning. Yeah, he may or may not, but you know, that's who they're all getting behind, right? And Tisha, how you doing? He says, hello, family. And Gerard, what is going on with you? He says, Black first, Black and Black always. Yes, indeed. There he is. Now we can see you crystal clear, brother.
Yeah, that's because I'm on my phone. I can't plug into the computer. Like I said, they're giving me this work because I have a big footprint. So they're trying to shut the D down, but you know, I keep it rolling. But let me speak on this, whatever. How many of you guys remember during the Virginia elections when Roland Martin took his buster ass show down to Virginia to cover it? And he was covering some of the candidates and things that were going on. And that was the time when that one kid got shot or something like that. And he was covering that as well. And the grassroots people came up to him and basically told them they don't want him there. And man, did he start stuttering. I mean, but yeah, I'm media. They were like, nah, dog, we don't like what you're doing. We don't like what you're saying. You're not there for us. I mean, they called him out. So I can't wait to see Roland go down to Louisiana and get that work down there. So, you know, I'm not going to keep too much into that, but, you know, I don't know what Roland is smoking, but the thing is, when he gets to the streets, he's not credible. So I don't know why he's going to put himself into that, because nobody is watching his network. And speaking of people like Roland Martin, BNC Network went belly up Friday. They are done. They're not going to pay their people. They said that's it. In a business, when something is not going well, you don't continue to put money into it. You kind of cut your losses and move on. And Mark Shield Hill, whatever these people were, they're all out the box. They're all paid agents. So
absolutely. So glad to have you crystal clear, brother. And the Pioneer says, sounds like a local issue, a Louisiana issue to me. Why should Black folks in Detroit, St. Louis, or Oakland care so much about that area more than their own, right? And the other thing, too, is, you know, if he does go to the Senate, he does get to eventually make decisions, you know, for everybody else, because they, you know, work as a collective once they do get to Congress, right? So that will affect us if he gets there. But the point being, you know, he wants people to go down there and register Black people to vote, but it's like, for what? Like, to do what at this point, right? And Sean, how you doing? Says yesterday, Jason Black reached out to that guy. Why before Bowling Ball Martin, he didn't get back to him? Yeah, well, you know, he's probably been told to stay away from the new Black media, if you will, right? An Afro Diaspora Network. He says Roland got that work when he took his show out to Virginia by the grassroots. How many of y'all remember that? I do remember that, when they kind of, you know, circled him and, you know, put his feet to the fire. And Terry says Uncle Roly Poly calling out the true Black media. I like that, for not using power to indoctrinate us into silence. He wants you all to distract us from tangibles. Exactly. Like, he is like mad about it, right? Like, we're asking for something, but he's like trying to find every way to combat people really saying, listen, we see them giving everybody else stuff. What about us, right? So Moni says, Donovan, do you plan on suing? Because what I see in the video, if you don't sue, it would be frivolous and just allow these people to continue doing this. Please tell me what you will sue ASAP.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely suing. And Demetria's familiar with this lady. Demetria almost came to fisticuffs back in the day.
Right. And a Pioneer says Afro Diaspora Network. No, it's actually a different one, not Brother Phil. And now Donovan said he is a paid agent. And Terry says, I missed that Afro. I'm going to look for that. Mm-hmm. And so Donovan is telling y'all that is actually him. That is his network. And Mona says, I hope that we'll talk about why did the other Black network get canceled. So yes, Donovan just mentioned that. He says, I feel bad for them, but they don't have to join with African diaspora, but I'm sad to see them go. Well, you know, I don't know why that didn't work out. It sounds like the owner of the Jaguars, and he's part owner of that network, or he was. And
he's the funder. Yeah, he funded the whole thing.
Yeah, so my thing is, y'all ain't talking about nothing. Y'all talking about the same old, you know, soft shoeing and stuff. People want some real, you know, some other stuff to sink their teeth into.
Well, the real problem why it failed is the fact that they did not do stories that deal with Black people. Look at some of their reporters. The new Black media is popular for the simple fact that you see feelings behind what we're saying. We're not reading off a teleprompter where we're soulless. We have some skin in the game with that. And I think Phil put a video up talking about that. One of the main reasons that the Black News Network failed is the mere fact that they didn't have Black people support. It's just as simple as that. People say, well, BET's white owned, but when BET was sold for $4 billion, it had Black support. So once you get the Black support, it's just like with the Fox channel on TV. What started Fox channel was Black people, all the Black shows that were on it. Then there was the WB. All Black, you know, they started Black shows that started it, and then, you know, it warped into something else. That is the main reason why it failed. Just because you have a name Black news channel, if you don't have Black people grassroots supporting it, it's gonna fail.
Absolutely, good point. And so Terry says they're using Roland against you guys right now, but eventually the man will be coming, offering all kinds of dollars for your true loyalty to go to them if they haven't already. Absolutely. Yeah, he's completely being used, and he seems like he's happy to, you know, be of service, right? And Fly on the Wall, how you doing? He says, hello, everyone. I think Roland Martin asked Steven from Django Unchained. He's out there working in the fields, trying to get votes for the Democrats. Exactly. Good analogy. And Beverly says Ukraine is blackmailing Joe Biden. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but United States is complicit in what's going on with Ukraine. They helped destabilize Ukraine in 1994 when Bill Clinton was in office, along with Russia and Britain. They all talked Ukraine out of their nuclear weapons and said, if something happens to you, we'll be there to support you. And here we will see right before our eyes, nobody is coming to the defense physically anyway of Ukraine. They're sending, you know, money and some weapons and stuff, but they're like, yeah, we know Russia's crazy, so we're gonna sit back, right? And Sean, you say facts. Pioneer says that nickel is a joke. And Frank, how you doing? Peace to you as well. And Terry says, I bet it was beautiful, Donovan. And Terry says, he sure is, Brother Pioneer. He sure is. Kanisha says, yes, to speak the truth, I'm trying. And Sean says, it does not make sense for any Black person to vote for the Democrats or Republicans. Our people are in some deep trouble voting Democrats. Yeah, I mean, either way, we're not getting anything, right? And so okay, I got that. And Pioneer says, by the way, sis, I like how you called out the women on twerking in public gymnasiums and at high school. Well, I appreciate that. I just put that video right before we came on here. I just want to hurry get it up. But yeah, we'll talk about that toward the end of the show. I mean, we really got to at some point in time to start shunning that behavior. And Capricornus, how you doing? It says shalom. And Bongani, I hope I said that right, says greetings, Demetri and Donovan, and hello to you as well. And Tracy, how you doing? Says, hey, hi, DK and DS. And Royal Nubian, how you doing? Says, I pray Black people are awakening to this ish. It's time to wake the hell up. I totally agree with you. And Ali, how you doing? Hotep to you as well. And Yashawn says, Los Angeles is warm. Says, yes, I just came back from Vegas, which, you know, is about 250 miles from Los Angeles. Yeah, it was warm there as well, like 90 degrees. And so Terry says, this is making me very proud. Dems are truly concerned, which means we are more on the same page than not. Every time I watch the true Black media, I walk away empowered to stay the course. Yep. And that's the purpose of why we do what we're doing, to wake people up and say, hey, stop falling for the same old, same old. And Capricorn is just saying we should always be suspicious when they push people on us. Good point. Deadshot, how you doing? Pioneer says it's too late for a lot of Black folks to wake up. Too many are in zombified state. Don't expect zombies to wake up anytime soon. Exactly. And after eventually they come after you, right? Moni says, impress me when you make it that Blacks can get protection so that we're not being gunned down by racist police day in and day out. And impress me when you cover college for Black people fully. And Barack, how you say that, Donovan? You told me once before. Baruch.
Yeah, Baruch.
How you doing? He says, twerking on the gymnasium floor, ridiculous. Yes, indeed. Y'all remind me to talk about that. We're going to get into that. H. McDaniel, how you doing? He says, good Sunday, everyone. Yes, indeed it is. It's actually a really beautiful day today. And Sunlight, how you doing, girl? And Mr. D's News, he says, Chambers is already in the hole with his campaign money. Already, you know? And Pioneer says, Buster Ass Show. That's West Coast as hell. Absolutely. You know it. And then Terry says, I somehow completely missed that. Rain says, please don't shut the D down. Well, he's back up and running. Let me catch up to these comments. And Baruch says, shalom. Shalom, Sister K. And Brother Donovan, back at you. And Terry says, I sure do hope he does. It's a new day, Roro. Rain says, I remember that. And Royal Nubian says, time to call all of them out. NAACP, Black Caucus, all of them have been complicit in selling Black people nothing. As I've heard the term before, hope dealers. You're dealing hope and you have no plans at all of seeing any of that come to fruition, right? Just keep Black people hopeful. Pioneer says, yeah, I heard that BNC show. I think he been shut down. That's a shame too. Yes, indeed. And Terry says, no way. Man, I was away for 1 week and missed everything. Laugh out loud. And Gerardi says BNC was the blackface CNN. I never even watched one show on there at all. And Baruch says, roly poly, Orlando, Buffalo is out. Wow. And Letitia, how you doing? He says, I was financially supporting Chambers, but after last night, I canceled my coins. So I'm not really in the know of what happened last night. Was there some sort of revelation? Somebody just said that his money is kind of funny. Pioneer says, to be honest, I didn't watch BNC, not 1 hour of it. I wasn't on the Comcast. It wasn't on a Comcast lineup I was subscribed to. Yeah, I never watched one episode of it either. So I'm with you. Mona says, I agree with Roland Martin that nobody ever calls out Republicans, and many of you will defend a Republican. But I also say at the same time, Roland is nothing but a standard time. I don't like him. Well, I mean, to your point, at Roland's point, why should we call? I mean, we know the Republicans, they are up front in your face with who they are as racists and all that, but we don't overwhelmingly give our vote to the Republicans. We give it to the Democrats, right? And we expect something back. And Baruch says, Rolo's head is big like a bowling alley. Y'all, wow. Then Gloria, how you doing? He says, I'm so happy they went belly up. That was not Black owned. There you go. And Marty says, I want to know why Biden hasn't removed qualified immunity. He's probably not. That's why I'm not voting for none of them. And I damn sure will never vote for number 45. I will sit it out as usual. Yeah. Well, Biden was unapologetic about not getting rid of qualified immunity. He said he's not. In fact, they've thrown more money at the police. So Pioneers and Brother Donovan, it looks like you're broadcasting from the same high school gymnasium. Dimitri K reported those mothers twerking and laugh out loud. Well, he's all better now, Jerome. If I didn't already, how you doing? He said he real mad. Yes, he is upset. And Letitia, I hope I'm saying that right. He says, I canceled my coins for Chambers last night. Well, do tell. And Tisha says, I had a bunch of 21 to 26-year-olds in my house today. And if they are an indication of what their peers think, the Dems can't depend on their vote. They're either Republicans or independents. Yeah, I would say that too. For a lot of young people that I talk to, they are not having the Democratic Party at all. So that's a good sign. Sean said it's mind-blowing that he would even bring up the Republicans when our people vote election Democrat over 85%. Good point. Donovan says, damn, they are so damn desperate to stop the new Black media. All they have to do is start doing legislation for Black people, you would think, right? And Baruch says, I met this short Boost Mobile in filthy DC. Okay. And Gloria says, hello, Demetra and Donovan. Just finished watching these so-called adults twerking. Shame on them. Yes, we need to start shunning that behavior altogether. And Pioneer says, maybe the Nation of Islam need to start a channel like the Final Call channel. What they do have is called NFA Studios. You have to subscribe to it like you would Netflix and all of that. Maybe if our brother Jonelle comes on here, he can put the link up and I'll share it with y'all. But they do have their own channel. And Gloria says at school, yeah, they were at a high school from what I understand, the mother's twerking. And Mr. D says, Moni, so you're talking to Moni. And Facts Not Feeling says, peace and love, family. Billions for Ukraine. Ukraine immigrants with hidden Nazis among them coming to USA. You better believe it. And that is a fact, brother. And how you doing, by the way? Terry says, I'm okay with it not working out, but they never had our best interest at heart. They were created to detract attention from the real black media. I don't watch BET either. Me either. And Baruch says, you got a whole bunch of names. Bowling farting, wow. And Explicit Mind. How you doing? We are talking about Roland Martin of Unfiltered with Roland Martin is on YouTube. And Royal Nubian says buck dancing. Yeah, that's what some people said he was doing. Pioneer says you broke down why they failed excellently. Brother Donovan, you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to capture the hearts and minds of your target audience if you want to remain relevant. Thunder, hey, how you doing? And I thought, Gertrude and Agnes was keeping you hostage, but I see you made it. And Capricorn, she says, at this point, we just need to hold our vote, until we get something for it, right? And Mr. D. Rob, how you doing? He says, you have to understand that if we say we're holding the vote unless we get tangibles at that, it means more difficult for Roland to fool us into voting for nothing. I agree with you. And Frankie says they are agents. Yep. Y'all, you're saying hello to Pioneer. And Baruch says, bootlegs are on the move fast out here on the tar. Yep, they're trying, but we right behind them, if not in front of them, right? And Donovan, I'll catch up and I'm gonna let you jump in here. Facts Not Feeling says Russia is the real deal. Don't let CNN fool you. Absolutely, do your research, right? Pioneer says it's hot as hell in Las Vegas. Yes, I was just there. And McGarren, how you doing? He says hello, Demetra K and Donovan Saadiq and all cave dwellers. All right. Pioneer says I don't care too much for Las Vegas when I was there. Too many gangsters and thugs. There's a whole lot of stuff out there now. I actually went to see Silk Sonic. Was worth every penny. Every penny. Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak worth every penny. Probably why my voice is a little hoarse. And Baruch says true brown media is real. Word up. Okay. And Marcus, thank you so much for sharing the link. If you guys are on Facebook and you're watching this and you want us to read your comment, click on the link or come over to YouTube and we would love to do that. And Letitia says, I love and promote black media. Same here, as we all should, right? And Capricorn, she says, they've been selling us up the river for years and going to keep doing it until we just put our foot down, right? And Jewel, how you doing? Says, yes, they're sellouts. And Thunder says, I saw your video about the grown black women dancing sexually in front of all those children. They thought it was okay, apparently, right? Says black women can never be corrected. If she is, it gets passed off to the black male as his fault. Yeah, you got a good point. I promise y'all, we're going to get into that. And Pioneer says, Russia ain't playing around over there. They're afraid to stop Russia from doing what they're doing. So they've decided to try to change the narrative and pretend that Russia is losing. Right. Yeah, I've seen that too. And Terry says, now that's what I do. I actually convince our people to get armed and licensed and drive them to the sheriffs for their license and to the sports shop to purchase their equalizers. Good point. And I mean, that's actually a good thing, right? How people go get legal. Alex, how you doing? Says only watch one episode. Is when Riza Islam went on there. So I did hear about that where he got into a pretty heated debate. And it sounds like he was eating their lunch over there. Mr. Pyre Brain, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetra and Donovan. And Baruch says, NAACP, Polly, Al, Farton, Lord have mercy, Leslie Waxon, damn. And who is this doofus? Nah. I don't know about who that one is now. I ain't gonna go there with that one. He says, are all clowns for red rot? I don't know what that is, but that last one we ain't gonna touch that. We love the minister over here. And Dr. D. Robbins says Roland has one goal, and that's to get us to continue voting for nothing in return. He was against Ice Cube when he had the contract with Black America and against Diddy saying hold the vote. Yeah, he actually hoodwinked and tried to ambush Ice Cube with Black Lives Matter and where are they at, right? And Terry says Dems are dangerous while hugging us. They stab us too. And Martin says, Donovan, I would love to know whenever you do another live so I can get with you and Demetra, talk on some stories with crooked elected officials taking payoffs and allowed to do nothing. All right. And Pioneer says, if your butt is made funny and you have too much muscle and not enough fat on your butt, you ain't got no business twerking. You have nothing to wiggle and shake. It's embarrassing. Lord have mercy. Donovan, what say you really quick before I get to these comments?
Oh, no, keep going. The comments, like I said, it's good to see our co-host really moving the show.
Right. And Terry says so much easier that way for Dems to give us what we want. That way they don't won't lose our votes. We must stand against them. Yes, indeed. Letitia said it's about time we start vetting all people. Yep. And H. McDowell says again, I would say that Roland be talking out the side of his neck, but he ain't got no neck. All I hear is gurgling noises. You wildin'. Jay Bubble, how you doing? He says shame on Hampton. And what happened with that? If I've been out of the loop for a couple of days.
Yeah, well, you remember Hampton University is giving free tuition and free to Ukrainians, but not to deserving Black students who could barely stay in school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of. What? You don't have enough tuition? Get the hell up out of here.
Yeah, free room, board, tuition for this semester. Then they're going to allow them to stay at regular tuition prices in the summer and beyond if they want, right? And Mr. Pirate Brain, you say they are going to move Ukrainians to New York and San Francisco where they can vote, right? And you know they're going to give them some money because it's high as hell to live in both of those places. And avenge the ancestors. How you doing? Says hello, Queen Demetra, Brother Donovan, and Room Black first. Yes, indeed. And Baruch says they had to air out, but it did not work. Something stinks. And Letitia says mothers were shameful. Yes, indeed. Talking about the women twerking. Martin says I agree with you, Dimitri. We should start shunning all inappropriate and unprofessional behavior that makes us as a community look bad. Either way it go. Personally, I'm sick of it all. It's truthfully, yeah, we just got to start shunning it, but I promise y'all we're going to get into that. Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, are you pulling a Jeffrey Tubin on us? You went across your legs with something and all I saw was skin. Skin that I wanted to. He says, laugh out loud. I hope you got on more than just your shirt, man.
That's a good one, though. But I got shorts on, but it's hot out here, man. Chill.
It's hot. And Baruch says, Red Rock, Pink Cave dwellers are losing their something dome. Okay. And Easy, how you doing? Says, hello, D. Donovan and family. And Angela, what's going on with you? Says, Jim Crow Joe is doing more for Ukrainians than his own people that are suffering here from homelessness. And now 800 million are now impoverished due to the pandemic. And yet they got all that money to, give Ukrainians, Afghans, and people from Mexico and other places, but nothing for people here, and especially Black people who are the most in the homeless population. So good point. And Letitia says, New Black media gives personality. Yes, it does. It's not like, we're all, hello, so today we're going to talk about what happened across the street,
Yeah.
So good point.
And real quick, going back to Joe Biden, do you guys realize, remember when he talked to the so-called Black leaders, I can't do nothing without Congress, they keep playing the blame game. Do you know that this man has given over $15 billion without any congressional approval? $15 billion. No correct congressional approval. He just said, give it to him, and it's done. Executive order.
But nothing for Black. We just can't do it. And he's not going to be responsible for something his ancestors did. So, and J. Cage, how you doing? Says, so tired of Ham Hock Martin. Wow, y'all got a whole bunch of names for that, brother. Martin says, we have to remember the group of people that nobody is never supposed to speak against is the same ones that is the cause of all this stupidity and just downright foolishness. Let's be clear. Well said. And the Pioneer says the racists are angry at Putin because he's killing off too many white folks. They think he's going off cold. Good point. And Letitia, you say strong man Putin. Yeah, I tell people all the time, do your research before you go off of the narrative that, he's this or that, right? And Shine says, you could tell Roland Martin is a straight girl. He always talking tough in his garage. Y'all are wild. And again, if you guys are on Facebook, you see this show, click on the link and I would love to read your comment, or come over to YouTube and I can see it there as well. And Morning says, Donovan, I like the background that you are in. I think that in that light, you are exposing your local city council. Don't be surprised if they don't try to retaliate against you in many ways. Glad you're suing.
Oh, no. Well, you guys got to remember, Demetra and I have been doing this for a very long time, and my city does actually monitor what I do on social media so that they're aware. But I'm well aware of that. So they're aware of what I do. So
absolutely. And Thunder says, look at our community. She has been the unquestionable head of the for the last 40 years. Our community needs a new head, and if she won't be corrected, then she should be removed and replaced. This must stop. So you're talking about black women. So let me ask you this: who should black women, if she, because let's also put that out there, it's not all black women, but who should she be replaced with? And Thunder says also says, okay, so it doubled up for some reason. And Roy, how you doing? It says Malcolm X said before World War II, the U.S. media demonized Germany and Japan and praised Russia and China. Then after the war, the media demonized Russia and China and praised Germany and Japan. Yep. United States, they try to form these narratives of other people and countries that they won't even form against themselves, right? And they should. And Baruch, you say these rats had to share the Dookie funk. Okay. Easy says D, that mama's twerking contest was deplorable, right? And then, what's even more deplorable is all the people that was in the stands cheering it on. It's like, huh? Facts Not Feelings says food for thought. If USA armed Nazis over there, do you think U.S. will arm them in U.S. if conflict breaks out here? So why the hell would any black person in USA rooting for or aid Ukraine? Because we are told that, when white people are in distress, we're supposed to come running. Meritorious money. I just jacked it up. Meritorious manumission. That's, was codes that were put in place during slavery, and one of them was to do something for white people, and we're still operating on that realm, right? Oh, we bring these white people over here, then that makes us good, we getting in the fight. But it's like, well, but in all fairness, Ukraine, Hampton did say Ukrainians and other international students, but it's like, come on, man, you got probably kids in the neighborhood that would love to go to college, but they can't afford it. Hampton is a very prestigious university, even outside of HBCUs, and it's very expensive to go there. So you're going to put the bill for, I think they said 50 Ukrainians or other international students. So I don't know, y'all.
Well, as a father of a Hampton graduate, I'm going to tell you the money, hey, they weren't holding back on the money that they wanted from me.
Right. Absolutely. And Marty says, I hope we don't have no 90-degree here in Michigan, but I'll accept that. We have our cold moments like Donovan. You can come to Michigan and keep me warm any day, partner.
I'm working on it.
Kiki, how you doing? Says, hey, Queen. Hey, Sir Donovan. Thanks for the tag. Marcus, good looking out. Yes, indeed. We love Marcus over here. And Dusty Hotep, how you doing? I didn't call you that. You called yourself that. He says, Roland Martin looks like Sugar Bear and Porky Pig have a love child. See, I'm just reading.
And the thing about Roland, isn't it? It's funny how they've got Roland Martin, Joy Reid, what's that? Jean-Claude Pierre in the White House. All of these people are either Haitian. They're not fundamental black folks, but they are quick to work for white supremacy.
Well, Roland says that he was born in Houston, and so was his parents. What he said. So, he would probably know. So I don't know how much of an immigrant he actually is if his parents were born here and so was he. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
And so then Morning says, Donovan, was your favorite drink either liquor or wine or champagne? Donovan, can you handle being in 50-degree weather in the day and 18 to 20 at night? If not, why?
Well, I was stationed in Alaska, so I can go to any extreme, and I spent a significant amount of time in the Middle East for the last 20 years.
So he can have it. You shine, you say this warm in Los Angeles, and get rolled up out here on my mama. Damn. We know you from the West Coast. Mr. Piper says, Donovan looking like Huggy Bear with that hat. Yes, indeed. He gets told that a lot. And Baruch says, run them through a car wash, extra aromatherapy. What? Pioneer says shorts. Okay, good. Maybe Moni and him want to see more of you, but I'm good. I'm happy seeing you present and hearing your wise commentary. Laugh out loud. And Terry says him and all those doggone handouts he's giving to everyone. He's even pissing off white people too. I'd be shocked if he gets a second term. Yeah, I have a shirt that says I'm not black because I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I had a white woman come up to me one day and she says, what does your shirt say? So I told her and I explained it to her. She goes, well, I voted for him and I'm not voting for him again. That was a big mistake. Because to your point, well, a lot of, white people and other people are pissed off too. It's like, yo, dude, things are not better for anybody here since you become president. I mean, it's just a fact. And Letitia says he's looking handsome in that black. All right, we're gonna have to put Donovan back on the auction block. I see. I'm auctioning him off to the highest bidder. You know, whatever woman, he's single, y'all single. You know, I'm just the middleman. I got to take my cut. You know, to get y'all together. So, and Baruch says Putin is creature strong and intelligent. And Kiki says we don't mind if Donovan only has on a shirt and wants to be our eye candy. Just kidding, Donovan. Much respect. No, treat him like a boy toy. He likes it. It's okay. And Mr. D's News says Roly-Poly Martin is feeling some type of way because he can't trick black folks into voting for the Dixiecrats. Good point. He's in a desperate situation for them butter biscuits. Yeah, I mean, you know, he said that he got money for, I guess, from the census to what I'm not too sure of. But yeah, you get money. And if he got money from the Democrats or whatever, yeah, he's got to deliver. You know, we're giving you this money because we want you to go out there and sell it. Right. But unfortunately for him, the new black media, the true black media is getting in the way of that. You know, like Scooby-Doo, when they would pull off the mask and the villain would say, you darn kids or whatever they would say. So, you know, it's kind of like that. Right. Pioneer says, now, Demetria. Now, if Demetria wants to show some skin, I wouldn't be mad at her, laugh out loud. But like most conscious women, she probably thinks it's disrespectful for a woman to show herself off in public. I mean, you know, I wear shorts and things like that. But when I'm on here, I like to be a little brightened up. You know, y'all need to stay focused. But anyway, so Facts Not Feeling says Putin is Slavic, Biden is Anglo-Saxon, two different tribes of Euros. Nazis descend from Anglo-Saxon. Absolutely. So to your point, I mean, United States has an excellent intel program, and y'all don't think they know or don't know that there is Nazism going over there on in the Ukraine. They know. And Capricorn says we need to start our own party. Yep, and they've been saying that for years. Let's start our own, right? And Obvious Truth, how you doing? It says, according to Putin's political philosopher Alexander Dugin, the goal is to eradicate liberalism and promote Christianity. Who knew? I mean, I didn't know that. I haven't heard that, but I mean, anything's possible, right? Pioneer says that is true. The Slavic white folk have a different mentality than the Teutonic white folks. Both are racist, but the Teutonics have more of a superior attitude. And Mr. D. Rob, he say, we have to quit voting just for the sake of participation. Say what you want about racists, but they actually expect Trump to build the wall. We go vote and expect nothing in return. Absolutely. That's what I said. We can be mad all we want, even if we want about the insurrection and all that on January 6th. But at least they let people know we ain't playing, right? We don't like what's going on, and we're going to do what we can. Now, of course, some of them got jailed, but, you know, they'll be all right. They're white. And Brooke says, all funk cheered it on. Birds with the same gas flock together. You also say, I know that Jim stank. Wow. Talk about the twerking. Morning says, so I think when they shut down places like this, they look for the new black media to comment in a negative aspect. Not surprised at Roland Martin making fun of Vicky Diller's synthetic hair always. And it should also be said that Roland, you know, he was on CNN, is not there anymore. He was on News One, not there anymore. And so, you know, he says, because I was, you know, reading up some things that he has 4 things in the works. He's got, I think it's Black Star Media, something he's trying to get up and running, or he's getting up and running. So he says he's got some things going on. You guys don't know what you're talking about. So
I guess he does when you're getting financed by taxpayer dollars. I guess you do.
Right. All right. And so let's see here. And T Shields, how you doing? It says it's going to take 200 years to turn Black America around. The mothers twerking and out. Conditioned in part due to our not doing our job as a community. Yeah, I mean, at some point in time, we just have to start shunning it and start saying, okay, you know what? You know, enough. Like, where was the booze? And hey, you know, somebody run out there. Hey, DJ, turn it. We got children here, and this is inappropriate. Women, y'all supposed to be. Y'all remember when Black women, even after slavery, you know, before the civil rights and all that, Black women were the standard. Black women didn't do all. I'm not saying they didn't do it, but it was rare to see Black women act the way we do back. You didn't see that back then. Like, those women were shunned, right? Or you saw that stuff maybe in a juke joint or somewhere on a Saturday night. but it wasn't regular. I don't know. Y'all tell me. And black man, how you doing? And you say, at Demetra, Queen Demetra, do you think foundational Negro descendants, saviors of America's slavery, should stand with Putin, Russia like us? They're the only group fighting against bigotry and corruption. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say stand, because I'm not completely well versed on all that is going on, but I will say this, and I've been telling people this: do your research before you fall for the narratives of America, because we've heard them form narratives on everybody else that they've gone and had to eradicate, right? Oh, they're bad people. They're bad people. But I'm reading James Baldwin. I'm reading this book slow. It's a really good book, The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And he's actually talking about Russia and basically how, everybody, and this is like 1960s, this book was written, how America, he always talks about Russia, but it's like, well, when is America going to talk about the things they do? They're doing the same things, if not worse, but they always want to call out other countries for being inhumane. But he's like, there's nowhere else more inhumane than America. Look what they're doing to black people. And all these years later, it's almost like he wrote the book today. So I think we should do more research before we just go along with it, if that makes any sense.
Well, and it's so sad that America has such a short memory. I mean, did we not go into a country under the pretense of weapons of mass destruction that has never been found to this very day? And then went into the other country for 20 years and bombed them back into the Stone Age. And then we've got nerve to talk about human rights violations and what Russia's doing to the Ukraine and all this other stuff. Now, you're hearing this from a military person who was out there doing that work. I mean, when are we going to learn and say, well, we can't sit up here and criticize Russia when we wrote the book on how to go and invade countries under false pretenses?
Absolutely. And obvious truth, you say the U.S./CIA has controlled Ukraine for decades. It's a hotbed for all manner of corruption. The USA is calling all the shots. Well, they're trying to with Russia, but Russia's like, not so fast, partner. You're not going to bully me. And you see that the United States is not bullying Russia, But as somebody said, now they're trying to turn it around like, oh, Russia's losing. It's like, okay. And Andro Sarian, how you doing? I hope I said that right. If not, please forgive me. Says Peace Corps advised Black volunteers they may be called inward by Ukrainian refugees, but yet they want to roll out there and roll up their sleeves and go help. It's like, okay. And Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, you sent the child through Hampton University. Man, your resume is impressive.
Well, no. I didn't send them to Hampton University. You guys sent him. In the end, you paid for it.
You're welcome. And, Studios, Bohaz, I hope I said that right. I know I didn't. But anyway, you say, what has Roland Martin done for anything? Roland is an immigrant. Well, he's saying he's not. He's saying his mom and dad were born here, and so was he here being Houston. So I don't know. Y'all tell me. Martin says, Roland loves to pick on the weaker bunch, and he goes for Vicky all the time and making fun of her synthetic hair, and she must be bald because she never wears her own hair, is what he says. I mean, my thing is this: Roland's supposed to be the standard. He's supposed to be the standard of Negro media. But
yes,
he out there,
journalism.
Yeah, but he going out there and calling names. Now, I know people call him names too, but the point that I'm making is, I thought you were this astute, and I think Roland is astute for the most part, but you're supposed to be this higher caliber of journalists, Black journalists, but that's what you're doing. I mean, it sounds like, you got some anger issues, and like, if I was Roland, I would take an assessment of myself and be like, okay, why are these people mad at me? Is it for no reason, or is it for a good reason, right? Like, am I selling these same old talking points that are not working for Black people, and I'm just being called out for doing it? I mean, like, he should take inventory of what's really going on and stop getting mad at people calling them names, because we have a right to speak our opinion too. Just because he's getting paid to do it by them folks, that don't mean that he speaks for us and he's the end all be all and we should just shut up and listen to him. That ain't how it's going down, partner. So anyway, Baruch says HBO Haitian body odor. You got wow, you got a whole lot of them, don't you? And our studio say first generation is an immigrant if your parents do not have any roots in the USA. So maybe that's the case with his parents, but he's saying that he actually, was born here and all of that. And Dusty Hotep says Roland people came from Haiti. So yes, that may be true, but I'm just telling y'all what he said. I'm just putting it out there. And Thunder says she should be replaced by black men. Oh, okay, got it. So you're talking about in relation to the black women who are supposed to be the mother of civilization. Says every other community has this black men leading, but for us, the idea of black men leading is wrong and met with opposition from outside and within. When black men lead, we didn't see black women like this. Well, I would say this. So I think when we say the mother of civilization, we're meaning that obviously black people are the original people on the earth, and the first black person was that of a black woman by the name of Lucy, right? The first and the oldest skeletal remains that they found. And so that's what we mean by that. But I think it's taken out of context to say that black women should be the leader, right? That's not she should lead, but the man should be the lead. He should be the head, right? But the other thing is, and I will challenge y'all with this, is black men need to start stepping up more. Not saying y'all don't, and taking y'all rightful places as leaders as well. But I agree with you. No other community, puts their women as over the men in that regards. And Kimmy, how you doing? And Explicit Mind, and hello, how are you? He says it's a war on masculinity and playing on women's sensitivities, which I used to think was a private matter. Yeah, good point. Binder says, Queen, you make a good point. I hear a lot of people calling Roland an immigrant, but I know I read that he was born here and heard his parents was born here too. So yeah, I'm just telling y'all, that's what I read, and he said that himself. And Baruch says, use Roland as a steamroller. Well, damn. And McGarrett says, y'all don't know heat until y'all come to Louisiana, Satan's playground. Well, I'm in Houston, which is next door to y'all. It's, the summertime is just like, did hell bust wide open?
The only difference is that's why I like dry heat on being from the West Coast, that we get dry heat here. We don't get the humidity. That's what kills a lot of people, is the humidity out there.
It's horrible, but it's good for the hair and the skin. And Kiki says, yep, I posted on my page today about these white supremacists with black faces. Yes, indeed. And girl, you be giving them the business. So big ups to you.
Yeah.
Kiki actually uses her platform or social media is the right way by waking people up, right? We could talk about silly stuff all day, but waking people up is what's really more important. So big ups to you. And Terry, you say exactly in studio. It says, after that, you are not black comment. How can you vote for Biden? Well, there's a lot of people who defended it. Well, he do got a point. You ain't black if you don't vote for him and you vote for Trump. I've heard that. So an obvious truth, it says Biden puppeteers don't want things to get better for Americans. Not at all, because they getting their piece of the pie. So, we don't really care about the rest of y'all. And the Pioneer says, I'm a foundational Black American, but I'm not with the national set tripping between Black folks. Me either.
Yeah.
Said, as Brother Phil pointed out earlier today, Black folks all around the planet share similar struggles despite national differences. Absolutely. And that's why we call ourselves Pan-Africanists, because there is a lot of schisms within the Black community. Well, I'm this, I'm that. But like, Brother Phil said, Black people have the same problems everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, we already have problems from them folks, but then now we want to come and, divide Black people into this. It's like, we ain't even know, we've not been on the same page in a very, very long time. So why make it even harder to do that? So good point.
Well, I got a question, and I agree with you. We do have problems that are similar around the world, but I have yet to go to Africa or some other place where the Black women over there are saying that their men ain't shit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Admittedly, I don't live over there. I haven't personally heard that, but we should just stop doing that on both sides, right?
Right.
Terry says he definitely physically qualifies to be a boy toy. He could give us ladies a little peek. Donovan. And Morgan says Donovan is sharing the likes, and I like to share the likes with your channel. I think you bring a lot of good ideas, especially from a political part, and I'd like to see you do that. Tells the different law. Okay. And Baruch, you say they brought the toilet in the gym. So you talk about the torque still. Jamarcus, how you doing? Terry says we really do need to start our own party. I don't even know how to begin that, but I guess with just a few people, it's a great start. Yeah, we need to. I'm gonna tell y'all this really quick. I had a conversation with some people I know and love very dearly, and it was kind of frustrating because we were talking about Juneteenth being a holiday, and their position was, Well, it's something, and it's going to educate white people about what's going on. I said, you guys are kind of crazy if you think white people don't know about slavery. But I said, the other thing is we need to start listening to each other and stop being so quick to defend nothing. Defending Joe Biden, Juneteenth and all this other little symbolism, that's not helping, because it takes us too long to get to the goal of maybe starting another party and other things when we argue in defense of white supremacy, because that's what it is, right? And Royal Nubian, so you're saying start it. Yeah, start the political party, but we got to all be on board with that, right? Pioneer says they feel this entire war in the Ukraine, if off cold for them, because the objective for the races has been to decrease the black population and increase the white population. Absolutely. Anybody knows anything about Nazism? Hitler was more or less like white people with blonde hair, blue eyes are superior, and black people are at the very bottom of the totem pole, meaning that we are the most inferior people on the planet as far as his ideology was concerned. And Martin says, Dimitri, you are beautiful. Please bring back the raspberry lipstick. That is your trademark. You should have that, or gold or orange or fuchsia pink. Always. I love it. Don't be scared to show some skin. Wow, my daddy be watching this show, and my daddy ain't have me showing no skin on here, okay? Y'all don't need me to show no skin. My neck up is good enough. Ruth, how you doing? He says, if we hold our votes, they will give us what we want. I agree with you.
Yes.
Royal Nubian says, start it. It's desperately needed. Yeah, I mean, we just need to, start somewhere and get on board. And Serena, how you doing? He says, he's just trying to climb up that corporate ladder. And you talk about Roland Martin. Yeah, that's what the word is. He was, so I guess the rumor was he was supposed to be getting the communication, was it secretary of communication or some role like that?
Yeah, the communications director's chair, right?
And it didn't happen. So
right, but you know what? Since we're talking about roly poly, this is the type of guy Roland Martin is. Now, remember, he came down to our platform and started talking about people like us, the new black media, and just regular people who are just having conversations about what's really going on. I guarantee you, because of the type of person that he is, if he got offered a spot on MSNBC or CNN, he would leave his show in a minute. He literally would.
I believe so too. I really do. And Baruch says, get ready for martial law. Time is slim. Biblical prophecy. It has been prophesied. Morning says, I'm tired of seeing my TV every day where people are now donating their homes to the different refugees from Ukraine. But they never did this for Africans. I'm sick of it. Can care less what happens to them. Well, I'm glad that you are waking up, sister. In fact, Not Feeling says, my parents are old and started out loving Biden, but now they're mad as hell. It's curtains for the Dems. Yeah. And a lot, Donovan will tell you about his mama. He was able to, impart knowledge upon her, and she feels the same way.
Yep.
So, and Letitia says, Christians, let's not speak of them. Okay. Kiki says, I have to check this out about Roland, though. Hadn't heard about it. And like I said, I would play the video, but God forbid he sees it and then, puts a copyright claim or something. So it's around. You go to Twitter, enter it in. You can go Vicky Dillard, I think, and all the other people that he mentioned, Antonio Moore, Yvette Carnell, and Jason Black was another one that he mentioned. He says, Jason Black, you don't show your face. That's what he said, not me. Maury says, and I noticed that Biden did not give everybody student loan forgiveness, just those that's on Social Security, SSI, or those who want to go to school to become a teacher, which is BS. What about low income? Yeah, that's not what he said in the beginning, right? He's just a liar, to be honest.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that, though. Those programs were already in place. He didn't magically make those things. So the people that are getting these benefits, that was something it's like being a federal worker. It was already there.
But you got to work 5-10 years in the same profession, and then you get some of it, not all. So it's a lot of red tape you got to bust through to even think about getting your loans forgiven. And Anais, if I didn't already, hello, he says, Uncle Ro Unfiltered. Yes, indeed. An obvious truth. He says, you are right. Black women have standards, morals. Now they are sold out. Yeah, we need to get back to when Black women had standards, where people looked up to the Black woman like, wow, she's very dignified, right? And
well, if the fathers were in the home, it's the Black man's fault. And the fathers ain't in the homes.
It's everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault. And Terry says, when they start talking about physical attributes, they know There's no argument to dispute the statement made. I've dealt with a self-hating brother who attacked my hair because I said submission is a trade-off. And auto, wow. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, I've been called a modern woman for having an opinion. It's like, y'all need to really understand what it means to be a modern woman versus a traditional woman, right? It's not
Big difference. Big difference. But you know what? I'm glad you brought up the hair situation. This is why you need to vote for the Democrats. Billions of dollars to everybody else, and we're going to let you grow your natural hair without being harassed at a job that you might not get anyway because of unforeseen racism.
And it's not like they're going to say, well, you know what, Glota, you got to go because your afro was distracting. They're going to find something else. So how do you really even prove that, right?
Right.
And Baruch says, America's done. You say, look at Wyon. America will be crushed soon. Okay. Mm-hmm. Obvious truths. You say, USA is prophesied to be like a beast with two horns, like a lamb, and speaks as a dragon. Revelations 13 and 11. Yep. You are absolutely right. And Baruch says, Russia ain't worried. Nuclear missiles will be America's doom. Yeah, America's not going to have a choice but to get involved in this. You're not going to be able to sanction your way out of this. And right, right. Says, mm-hmm. For once, I would love for this liar to go ahead and give student loan forgiveness. And even if you're a low income, it should be been to those of us who received on unemployment and they have not done that. Well, I mean, they're giving billions and billions of dollars away to everybody else who don't live here. Student loan debt is to the tune of $1.7 trillion. Right. They've given $1 trillion away here and there since the pandemic, but you can't give reparations nor student loan forgiveness. You don't want to because you need a subservient class of people. And that's how they do it, by keeping people in debt.
And then I have a question.
Sure.
If you receive student loans, great. You graduated. In most cases, a lot of people graduated. Where are the jobs? Where are these great jobs that you work towards? Oh, that's right. AI and all this stuff to keep, like you said, a subservient class moving forward.
Absolutely, brother. And Royal Nubian says they have selective memory, and studios say, of course, Black Americans should stand with Russia, who are fighting against the American evil that is destroying the economic opportunities for Black folks. Absolutely. And that's why I said, do your research. Don't just go off of the talking points, because they also told us that Gaddafi was bad. You know, oh, he's torturing the people in Libya, and this, that, and the other. We need to go destroy him. But we know what that was about. That was about.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Remember when they were talking about how they want to get minorities more so into the trucking business and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Why haven't they talked about the AI within what they've said within the next 5 years that's going to make trucking obsolete, just like it's making flying obsolete for pilots in international airlines? AI is going to eradicate that. So let's say you're a young person and you want to get into trucking, and you take out the loans or you go through the training and stuff. 5 or 6 years from now, everything that you invested, your house, let's say you're doing well, your house, you got a car, whatever, they're going to just eradicate that position. And now what do you do? Now what do you do?
Better start reading Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. He gave us the game. In that book, he told us what to do. And nothing's changed. That book was written in the early 1900s. So we need to go back to the basics. And that's what he was saying. Yeah. Go back to the basics, because we still need those services. But we're going to wait to these corporations and these warehouses, because we know that predominantly in the service industry is us. We're going to wait till we are kicked out of those jobs and back on the soup lines before we say, okay, what is it that we know how to do? What do we need as a people? And we need to start thinking along those lines right now.
Right.
And Baruch is saying, boom, America's afraid of Russia. Good. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all see that, right? And Pioneer says, preach, Brother Donovan, the U.S. got a hell of a nerve criticizing Russia for what she is doing when the U.S. did the same thing on a greater scale in both Iraq, Afghanistan, and even in Syria and Somalia. Absolutely. And Capricorn says, but this is a thing, FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, we mind our business, but because we're in America, they feel that we're attached to it. Good point. Mr. D's News, he says, Master Biden is bombing Somalia and economic sanctions against Ethiopia, but they don't tell that, but Russia is the problem. Good point.
Right. And do you guys want to know why they're bombing Somalia and it's not getting any news coverage? Because Somalia has been labeled a failed state. When it's labeled as failed state, they're not human anymore. It doesn't matter. They're failed. They're not civilized. So go ahead and bomb it up. Nobody cares because it's a failed state.
In addition to them being Black, right?
Right.
And Letitia, you say we stand alone, family. We do not get along to get along. That's right. Exclusive Mind says they can't cancel Demetra. Keep it independent, Queen. Best channel I sub to. Always keep it 100. I love and appreciate you for that so much. And Moni says, personally, I'd be glad to see him taking off of TV One. Not that I watch TV One. I don't even get TV One, or I think he made any one of these black channels or networks. They're really ran by people that you never speak of or speak on. So I know what you mean. So yeah, they're owned by white people. And Kiki says, sorry that about my mic. Kiki says, but sisters, like that, standards are still out here. We're still out here, but these platforms don't highlight us and make us the norm. And it's intentional to paint a certain narrative. And they're doing this with sisters and brothers. They don't want to keep a level of division. They want to keep a level of division there. They want to keep us seeing each other negatively. It's intentional. Absolutely is intentional. But the other thing is those of us like you and me, Kiki, we need to, as best we can, keep educating people and waking them up and saying, hey, that is not all sisters, but sisters that are doing that, get up off of your knees. Act like you got some sense. Act like your grandmama, your great-grandmama is watching you. And what would she say to see you on all fours dancing that way in front of children and everybody else? What would she applaud that, or would she kick you in your backside? I would think the latter. And Terry says USA was pulling that human rights BS to the world because victims care about it and it looks good. Now that the covers are off, no one cares about what U.S. thinks. Russia invaded. U.S. gripes, be damned. Absolutely. Russia's called their number. Like, yeah, hello, y'all there? Nobody's answering.
yeah. Y'all want this work? We're right here.
Bring it. Obvious Truth said that's right. And Capricorn says he still Haitian. I looked it up. Okay. So thank you for that. But I'm telling y'all what he said. And Letitia says some have been kidnapped and gone into captivity, signed a 3-year contract. And who is that, if you don't mind me asking, because I forgot. And Mr. D. Rob says Black Star Media is nothing more than an app that has videos from YouTube. Okay, that's what it seemed like to me. It doesn't matter if someone is a network. It matters that they fight for the culture. Exactly. Good point. You can build a network all you want, but what is it about? Is it more of the same of rocking people to sleep, as I say, NyQuil for Negroes to keep people docile, or are you waking people up on this new app that you have, right? Like, what is it really doing? And Letitia said, he's an immigrant. Okay. Baruchi says, really though, Russia has always been the top king. America only invaded countries because the Soviet Union went down for a minute. True. If they didn't, Iraq, Libya, and Syria would be cool. Yeah. And Putin actually mentioned what the U.S. did to Libya. He called them out, so you're right about that. And Tahiri, I hope I said that right. Dominique, how you doing? You say, can't believe he has Haitian heritage. Sad. Yes, that's what I understand. He is of Haitian descent.
But think of Jean-Claude Pierre. She's Haitian. Think of Joy Reid. She's from the island somewhere. It's like these people who come from a colonial past. It's like they just automatically come here and just want to do the work of the master. That's just, they don't want to build in their country. They want to come over here and sell us out.
Very unfortunate. And Pioneer says, I agree, Queen. Black men need to do more stepping up. Most alpha males don't run around crying about why they aren't in charge. They take charge. You better say it again, baby. That's right. You don't ask permission. You just do it, right? And Laughing Stock, how you doing? He says, historically, Crimea belongs to Russia, and the Ukrainians are the aggressor in that region. And that's what Putin was trying to say. He made a complaint to the UN or something like that, and or to NATO or somebody, and it went on deaf ears. And he was like, all right, here we go. And Letitia says Stephen A. Smith is also an immigrant, Bahamian. Oh, okay, I did not know that. And again, if you guys are on Facebook and you're watching this somewhere, click on the link, and I would love, love, love to read your comment. Marty says, if Putin wasn't so racist, he could flip the narrative and say You don't have to invest your money in America. Black man, black woman, Russia would back you and loan you loans if your business shakes it up. Well, I mean, I don't know about any of that, but I do know that Russia is allies with quite a few African countries. So, you know, that does speak for something. And Letitia says, immigrants are different of all colors. And Rain says, I'm not African, not my tribe. And Baruch says, word up. And Sean says, anytime a black person receives any money from any political party to push agendas, their word means nothing. Yeah, because they're going to do what, you know, the hand that writes the check tell them to do. It's a fact. And
so let me ask you guys this a question just real quick. The black woman that is being nominated for the Supreme Court, where do you think she's getting her butter biscuits from? And what is she going to do when she gets on the court? Is that going to change any of our lives? Or is this just more symbolism to rock us to sleep?
Well, I know she's backed by the Fraternal Order of Police, which is big in a larger scheme of things because, you know, police organization like the police and overall, they're backing a black woman. You have to ask yourself why. Why are they doing that, right? Y'all can read between the lines. And Royal Nubian says, at the end of the day, doesn't matter which part of the world we come from, they see is black. It's just a fact, right? When you get pulled over by the police, they say, okay, before I beat your ass, are you from Haiti, Jamaica, you know, Sierra Leone?
Are you LGBTQ?
Yeah, where exactly before I, you know, take it to you? Where are you? Are you from here? They don't ask that. I mean, they just don't. So it's like, to me, that's why it's really silly to do all of that. And Thunder says, yes, we need to step up and take our rightful place, but be ready for the backlash when she refuses to leave the throne and must be knocked down from her position. And if it comes to that, no half measures. Well, I think a lot of black women who are on the throne per se, maybe Donna's going to come back on something else, on the throne per se, I think she would gladly step down if a lot of brothers, not saying that y'all don't, but a lot more brothers would actually stand up and say, all right, baby, I got it from here. I want you to go and rest in your femininity, you know, and go do other things. And I'm going to do the heavy lifting from now on, right? I really believe that to be the case. Y'all tell me. Pioneer says, according to Wikipedia, Stephen A. Smith was born in New York City. So, I mean, we got a lot of information rolling around here. And Letitia says, Democrats are anti-black families. Absolutely. They've done everything they can in the last, 50, 60 years or so to keep black people separate, the man and the woman separate, keeping us divided, telling us that black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, and, you know, all this other stuff, right? And they have really been at the helm of it too. And B Sparrow Talks, how you doing? He says, I was just talking to someone about the video Vicky Diller showed on the brother approaching Roro at the Andrew Brown protest in North Carolina. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it was North Carolina. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they hemmed him up, you know, like, what's good? You know, how do you do? How you doing? And Letitia says Stephen A's family is from the Bahamas. Okay. And maybe Lily, what's going on with you? Says we have no business voting since we ain't getting nothing. I agree. We keep talking about we need voting rights. We need the Voters' Right Act passed. For what? You're not going to go in the booth and make the right choice. You're going to continue going there and voting for oppression. So why do we need voters' rights if we're not moving the ball? If we're just having the right to go in there and continue the talking points of the Democrats and keep voting for oppression, it's really all the same if you ask me. So you got to ask yourself, am I doing more of oppressing myself by continuing to vote for the same thing? Or are these Republicans who they say are behind the suppression of the vote suppressing us? Because let's say we do get all these voters' rights passed, are we going to go on there and make different decisions? Probably not.
Right. And here's a better question. If these so-called black leaders, Maxine Waters and Sheila Lee and all these bootlicks, if they're not concerned about it, why should we be?
Absolutely. And maybe Lily, you says we have no business. Oh, no, I read that already. Sorry about that. And then Explicit Mind says we not black. That's racist Darwinism. Okay, well, explain. Do tell. And Letitia says, I promote being on call by not voting. Yeah, that's a party right there, right? That is actually a choice, is to not participate in a process that's not really for us, right?
Now, I do want to say this. If you're talking on the national level, I agree wholeheartedly, but I will never tell somebody at the local level, your city council, your mayor, that's what affects you directly. You should participate in that, if anything, if it's in your interest to do so.
Absolutely. And Jay Williams, Jr., 83, how you doing? You say Roland Martin is a straight black first. Is that what you're saying? Okay. And then Thunder says we must do this and be unapologetic about it and not let people try to shame us for taking back control in order to save our community, because if we don't, we are finished as a community. And that's the plan, is to finish black people, right? Because after a while, there's going to be no need for us, right? Once they start bringing all these immigrants over, perhaps making, more voters and all of that, and these service industry jobs continue to dissipate, what need would there be for black people? Just like toward the end of slavery, when they started the eugenics program, the Negro Project, that was to eradicate black people because we were no longer an asset during slavery. We became a burden. And so they got along with some Negro leaders, just like some of them are getting, together with people like the Roland Martins and the other black media to disseminate information and certain talking points to black people so we can continue to vote a same way, and eventually causing our own demise. And so nothing has changed in all of that time. We would be wise to wake up eventually before we are like the dinosaurs, right?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because as we've been distracted with so many issues going on, they say in less than 10 years from now, black wealth is going to be zero. And nobody keeps talking about that. And people think, a lot of black people think that that's not true. 75% of all wealth in the black community is controlled by the baby boomers. If there's more Generation X, Y, and millennials, what is that saying? We don't have any wealth. And if we aren't taught how to keep it, it ain't going to matter. We're going to be out of wealth. And if you don't have any money in this country, what does that regulate you to be? A slave.
Right. Absolutely. Explicit Mind says, let's stop calling ourselves black. That's how they view us. Well, I mean, I'm more or less like, if we called ourselves fuchsia, that's not going to change how they treat us. You know what I mean? We weren't called black, when they were bringing us over here on the slave ships, we were Africans. And this is why I say too, just a really quick side point, like we get so mad about the N word, right? Why? Why do we get mad about that word? That word is not ours. That word does not belong to us. Like Farrakhan said, we didn't create the nigga, they did. But yet we keep, and as James Baldwin said, he says, but we keep acting like that. So we don't have to keep walking in something that they decided to define us as. Now we need to move away from that. So the point that I'm making is that we should stop calling ourselves black. It's not really what we call ourselves at this point. It's how we move. It's how we act, right? We can get on the same page and we can call ourselves green like Kermit the Frog, but if we're on the same page, then we're going to start getting results, right? What you think?
Right. I always say when I call myself a black man, I use that as an adjective just to mention something incidental about me that makes me different than another person. So when we say white man, right? How many different variants of white men are there? There's Irish, there's French, there's Spanish, there's German, but they're all identified as white. How many variants of black men are there? There's Ugandan, there's Jamaican, there's whatever. So it's mostly more so an adjective than it is anything else when you use that, connotation of the word.
Correct. Obvious truths. You say we need dress reform. Keep it discreet. I love it. And Baruch says, real brown men control their homes with humility. Yes, indeed. And Sandra J., how you doing? He said, love from sunny side. All right now. And Kimmy says, I was disgusted when Zelensky said he became emotional seeing blonde hair, blue-eyed women and children killed in the war. And he did say that. Who else said that? Hitler. And Royal Nubia says, we all can't get on board because some of us still showing division. Or sowing division. Yeah. That's what we do. And that's why I say I don't partake in any of that. And Pioneer says, first, Stephen A. Smith was supposedly an immigrant himself. Now, well, he's not an immigrant, but his family was. Next thing you know, he's an immigrant because his great granddaddy was foolishness. I see where you're going with that, brother. And Easy, he says, U.S. bringing white Ukrainians to America to help their declining population here in America. Houston is already preparing, and some may already be here. Yep, everybody's preparing to take them on in, right? But
Right,
you can go anywhere under any freeway in Houston to see a bunch of people homeless with tents and stuff, right?
Right. But isn't it funny how you look at how they're taking in the white and the Afghan, traders and stuff like that. But then look at the policy toward the Haitians and the blacks that were here under an even more egregious problem. They had their president assassinated and they had a natural disaster. But yet Biden put them on damn planes. As he's bringing the Afghans in, he shipped them Negroes out.
Yeah, they were in the air saying, bye, hi. So, yeah, absolutely. Letitia says, I'm proud of all the bywords the Father said we would be called. Okay. And Pariah's, how you doing? Long time no see. It says, hi, Demetria. Hey, Donovan. Peace. And Thunder says, and anyone who has a problem with this clearly wants a community to continue to die. If you see one way is not working, you must change and do what's best for the future of the Black community. I'm in 100% agreement with you. And Terry says, not me, I don't vote Democrat and I'm still wearing my fro. I know that's right. And I respect Knuckles. How you doing? And Baruch, you say the two horns are the Republicans and the Democrats. Good analogy. Marty says it would be nice if Russia put down a downright spanking on the U.S. to show you who really carries the power. That would be the day. What do you think about it, Donovan? Talk a good game, no action.
We can't beat Russia. I'm sorry. The numbers, put it like this. If you look at it historically, if the United States never got involved in World War II, the Russians would have beaten the Germans and just ran roughshod all over Europe because they had the numbers. They had the numbers. We don't even have 2 million people in uniform. They have over 3 million people in reserve.
Absolutely. And Kiki says, yeah, the Nazis are over there terrorizing brothers as we speak. Not seeing that splattered all over the news and the media. The Ukraine police basically handed over a brother to Nazis over there. I'm not being inhumane, but this is why our people need to stop being quick to jump on bandwagons. Absolutely. How many of y'all seen people change their profiles to the flag of Ukraine? It's like, are y'all for real? Come on. And Baruch says, the little horn in the middle is America. Okay, well, come on with the knowledge. Come on with it. Pioneer says, I'm not sure what's going to happen to America. I've been hearing people from various religions prophesize the doom of America for decades, but America is still here. The best thing for us to do is what can we do? What can we as Black people do, right? Like, we really have listen, I tell you guys a story all the time. My father was what they call a conscious objector of the Vietnam War. They tried to draft him several times, and him, being FOI in the Nation of Islam, he says, this is not my country. I'm not going to pick up arms for y'all and go kill innocent people. And then when I come back here, I don't have any rights. I'm not seen as a human. I'm not going to do that for you. So what can we do? This is not our war, right? Now we get involved when we start having a reason to, right? When we start getting, money, reparations and things, bills and stuff written in our favor, then yeah, we have something to protect. But honestly, ask yourself as Black people here in America and thinking about any wars that take place, what do we have to protect here? Name
nothing.
One thing.
We don't own nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't. So, I don't know if that's helpful. And Royal Nubia says,
wait, real quick.
Sure.
How many of you guys have been on a plane? When they're given the briefing, what's the first thing that they say in case of an emergency? Put your mask on before you help somebody else. You got to be able to help yourself before you can help anybody else. And that's the plight of Black people. We are so busy helping other people and letting everybody cut in front of the line in front of us to the detriment of ourselves. Thus, we are where we're at today.
Right. Y'all see, I'm starting to melt. I have my air conditioner on, but I'm gonna turn my fan on. So, so anyway, Baruch says the tip of England is losing. I read that wrong. The tramp of England is losing her power now. Yeah, what was it? Jamaica says that they removed her of the head of state, and I think it was who was it? Malawi or somewhere else. They did it just recently. So yeah, she's probably got one foot on a banana peel and one in the grave at this point. The Pioneer says the best thing for us as Afro-Americans to do is Stop focusing on all these prophecies and predictions about America's doom and focus more on forming our own private self-sustaining communities. I agree with you 100%. And Marnie, let's say talking to Pioneer, and Letitia says they're sending all of our coins over there to fight their war. Yeah, because they being United States, Biden, them know that there's nothing else they really can do, right?
But we have all this homelessness in the United States, half of which is Black, but we have no money to fight homelessness and all these issues, drug addictions and stuff like that. But we can give millions of dollars to people who never put in to the public good of the United States.
Absolutely. And Marnie says, Donovan, can you tell me if you celebrate Cinco de Mayo in May, or if so, how long is it in California? Demetri, same question. Do you have time to celebrate Cinco de Mayo in Texas during May 5th? Fun.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't celebrate any holidays, actually, but Cinco de Mayo, I'll say this in my neighborhood, Demetri will co-sign on this. I have Hispanic families all around me. There's a party for at least 2 or 3 weeks at every house.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo every day. As far as me, no, I do not. Even Mexico does not celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It's actually an American-made holiday. Just like most holidays, it is considered a pagan holiday, and it's a money grab for corporations. They know people are going to go out and celebrate and drink lots of beer. And so you might have even heard the term Drinko de Mayo, because it is assumed that people will go and buy alcohol and get drunk to celebrate some holiday that is really made up by the U.S., if you will. So no, I will not be celebrating that. And Letitia says they're all lies. Absolutely. Pioneer says way back in the 60s, you had nickels standing on the corner with foam coming out of their mouths, calling America Babylon and claiming it was on its way down to hell. 60 years later, America is still here. Well, I don't know. I've heard the analogy of America being Babylon, but if you think of what Babylon is, I mean, it's a pretty close description, if you ask me. But, maybe it wasn't going down then, but you could definitely see things starting to come to fruition now. I mean, look at Russia has the United States hands tied. Look at in relation to how fast they've run into other people's country to get rid of their leaders, right? They haven't talked about, have y'all got any draft letters, Donovan? Have they said, hey, go as best you can, put on that flight suit, don't bust any buttons. We need you to report to duty. Have you got those memos yet?
Not yet.
I'm just saying, and I got quite a few nephews who will not be going to do any of that, just keeping it real with you. And so anyway, Letitia said they plan for robotics being truck drivers. Oh yeah, Amazon is already like, shit, hold our beer. We got it coming, right? And Elon Musk with Teslas, they got Tesla trucks that they've been testing for years now. And so, truck drivers are going to be out of jobs, and, and a lot of warehouses are run on AI, if you will. And so we need to get ahead of that, right? I mean, because robots aren't going to be needed for everything, but we're going to get left behind even more so. B Sparrow talks and says, Black folks, it's really time for us to stop beefing with one another, with the Afghans, the Ukrainians coming in by the thousands. We have gonna have to start with pulling out our resources together. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Mr. D's News, he says, right, Donovan. Kiki says, frankly and transparently, I'm tired of this modern stuff with our men and women. I'm tired of this high and low value crap too. It's like Black people putting themselves on the auction blocks and judging each other by superficiality, why can't a Black man and a woman just meet, love, and live like we used to without all the extra stuff? It's just complicated out here, because I believe a lot of those people are agents and they are paid to sow division in the Black community. We can't have Black women and men on the same page, because we've known for years and years and years, J. Edgar Hoover says our job is to stop the rise of the Black Messiah. The greatest threat to America is Black unity. So we can't have Black men and women getting together. We got to tell them to go date people in Thailand. Go get you a white man. We got to tell them all of that. That Black man ain't no good. The Black woman ain't no good, because the more we keep them apart, the more they don't procreate, and they don't get on the same page economically, politically, and everywhere else. And there's a schism, and pretty soon, they won't be a threat at all. So great point. And Thunder says, yes, the trucking game will still be there. It will just be on a different level. They may not need physical drivers, but they will still need the owners of those trucks. Let's focus on being the owners. You better preach. And the Pioneer says, it's not that the U.S. will remain forever. Every nation has a term. My point is that we as Black folks should get busy working and building and not sit around waiting for some destruction or doomsday. I agree. I like, well, the bomb's going to drop any day now. Nah, get busy, right? So that doesn't affect us. Now, some people will say too, well, they did that, with Black Wall Street in a lot of other Black communities. They literally dropped bombs in Oklahoma there in Black Wall Street. They were preparing, but, we know more and we know better now. So we still should get busy with preparing and not, like you said, waiting for doomsday. And Letitia says their robots is their future. Sick. Yeah. But as Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Stephen Hawking said, and they're physicists and engineers and all that other stuff. They said they were afraid of AI, believe it or not, right? Elon Musk, the owner and creator of Tesla, said that he's afraid of AI. He says because once they become self-aware, then we as humans are in trouble. It would behoove us to learn how to get along with AI because it is coming, but we are keep creating it like it's not going to happen. So good point. And Bongani, you say, I got to go to work now. Great episode. Y'all stay well and don't work too hard out there. And hi, Brother Jonell. How you doing? It says Peace Queen, Brother Donovan and fam. We are glad that you were here. Brother Jonell, can you, when I get back to your comment, put up the link for NFA Studios? I think that's what it is. Some were asking about whether the Nation of Islam has a streaming service or something like that. And Baruch, you say, if they can find sense. And Jimmy, how you doing? He says, we need a purge amongst our people. Yeah, sad but true. And Marcus Garvey was telling us that back then, right? Not everybody is going to make it because some are no good here and they're not going to be any good when we go to Liberia. So we got to leave some people behind. And Facts Not Feeling says, yep, Donovan, AI is the future and China is 15 years ahead of USA. Absolutely. And again, if you guys are on Facebook watching this, click on the link and I would love to read your comment, question, or concern. And Letitia says a failed state. That's how they do it. And I think he meant Somalia. Yeah, as Donovan was saying, they consider it a failed state. So they're not people there, And Tanaya, how you doing? He says Roland is mad. He can't rock us to sleep anymore. At least anyone under 40, you better believe it. And let's see here, Janaea, I hope I said that right. How you doing, by the way? He says. You're speaking to Jimmy James. That's job belongs to the Heavenly Father. He will deal with them. Okay. And Marty says, I say, talking to Pioneer. And Jimmy James, how you doing, by the way? And Janaya, you say, very true at the Recovering Democrat. And Jimmy, you says, understood. And let's see here. And I don't read the comments that you guys read to yourselves for the sake of time. And Rain says, Joy Reid is from the Congo. She is African. Okay. And Pioneer says Black American women will respect Black American men much more if we stop crying about how so many are treating us and get busy building and defending what we build. They'd have no choice but to. That's what I'm saying. And Letitia, you say that was Russia, Demetra, on Friday. They took Ukraine and Nazi camp. They're keeping it quiet. Yeah, of course, they're not going to talk about that, right? Just like they didn't talk about how they were doing Black people over there. And Capricorn, she said, it's more symbolism. Absolutely. And Jimmy, he says, Karma Sutra, you wildin'. Karma Sutra Harris on Tuesday, Supreme Court. That's all. Oh, God. Now, that's a new one. I ain't never heard that one before. Sunshine Love, how you doing? It says more symbolism. Avenge the ancestors. How you doing? If I didn't already say that, it says symbolism. Yes, indeed. And B Sparrow talking says she married to a white man. So y'all talking about that of Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yes, she is. Yeah, and she found out last week that being married to a white man does not have his privileges, And so Marty says, okay, so that's what I like about Michigan in the north. You still got some cold front to make sure. I think he meant Demetra should like being in a cold environment so you can always wear some beautiful capes, nice minks. I don't mind the cold, but that's a little too cold for me. And Studio, you say she wants to be on the Supreme Court and don't know what a woman is, so she is going to destroy Black folks. Yeah, they asked her about that, and I guess she was having a hard time or didn't really want to define what it means to be a woman or something. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see snippets. And
real quick, speaking of women, how many of you guys heard about that NCAA transgender guy that beat all the women? And now all these feminazis are upset and stuff like that. But this is what we were telling you, that, you know, men are now going to come in and dominate your sport because we're genetically stronger than women. Now, a trans woman is not going to dominate a male sport because we're just made differently. But this is what we were talking about. And that's why it goes back to what you were saying, Demetra. We got to listen to each other and make it make sense. Now that these men are now infiltrating women's sports, now you want to get upset.
I heard that I don't know what the proper pronoun is, got their butt whooped though in the final race, came in last. And so Yanni, you say more symbolism. Yes, indeed. Ketanji Brown Jackson is really more symbolism. And Pioneer says, I don't like that this woman who was being nominated for the court is married to a white dude. However, she is a black woman, and I'd rather see her in that seat than another white man. Well, let me ask you this, Pioneer. Do you know how Justice Roberts and Kavanaugh vote? Are you familiar with how they vote? If you don't mind answering that, and then I'll tell you why I'm asking you that. And Mona says that it really be knocking people dead when they get in here in Michigan because it's real super humid that can almost take your breath away, but it hydrates the skin wonderfully. And of course, hair, yes, indeed. And Darius, how you doing? He says, greetings and blessings, Sister Demetra, Kay, and Brother Donovan Saadiq. I'm so very proud of you both. Please keep seeking and speaking and living in the truth. Be forever righteous and honorable. Well, we love and appreciate you for that. And Baruch says, what is her name? Sri Lanka Jackson. Wow. You got a whole lot of them, don't you? Whole lot of names. And Rain says, Judge Mammy Tammy, wow, was backed by the police. Yes, and she still is. She says she comes from a police background, right? So we really should do our research. And Letitia says, Russia took some neo-Nazi militants into captivity on Friday, 3 years contract to work for free, right? But like I said, you're not going to hear about that blasted all over the news, are you?
And how many of you guys went to my page when I was posting, even on Twitter, I posted a picture of Karen Bass. Now, Karen Bass was the lead congressional woman that was supposed to get us qualified immunity. When it didn't happen, she came out in the press and said, we tried. Now she's running for mayor of Los Angeles. Demetra, please tell us her late husband. Not that it really matters, but it kind of does. She was married to a Hispanic man.
Yeah, she's married to a Hispanic, and she's relying heavily on the Hispanic voters. Of course, there's a lot of pandering and promising I'm gonna do this and that, so yeah. And Jimmy says, Democrats funding abortion. Yes, indeed. And Brother Jonell says, as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing stated and other great leaders have said, we don't see their war being waged against, and we don't want to. And because we are afraid, we are engaging in behavior, mainly degrading behavior, specifically designed to block out any awareness of the war, our true reality. Absolutely. We're not programmed to really see beneath the surface and the narrative. So good point. And Pioneer says, well, I think the focus shouldn't be so much about voting rights, because unless you're a felon, your right to vote hasn't been taken away. Well, in some places they have restored felons' right to vote. So, and Janaya, you say, Maxine, wow. Said Maxine is still living. If so, where is she hiding? You crazy. She's around. She remember she said she was going to reclaim her time. So I think she's probably still doing that. And Moni says, another thing I'm tired of hearing people say that Democrats only fund abortions when that's not the case. If a woman decides to terminate, it's her choice, and opposed to abusing and neglecting for real. Well, I mean, Moni, it's a fact that Democrats do fund that, right? They give a lot of money to Planned Parenthood. In fact, Mackenzie Bezos, that's her married name. She was the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, just gave over $200 million to that of Planned Parenthood. And we know who that targets largely and disproportionate. That is Black women. So you guys.
Yeah. And if you ever decide to run for office as a Democrat, when you meet with the Democratic Central Committee, on that sheet that they're going to give you, it's going to ask you, are you for abortion or against it? And I can almost guarantee you, if you say you are against abortion, you will not be a candidate that they will be backing.
Correct. And I agree with you. I mean, it is a woman's choice, but I think there should be more education and more resources dedicated to our community so that people don't think that abortion is the only way, right? So there's other things that money could go toward, but it doesn't, right? Um, let's see here. And Baruch, you say Joy Reid was nominated for the Hair Hatted Hooligans Club. You tripping. Pioneer says, you're right, Queen. There's a lot of information floating around. The question is, how much of it is truth? There's a difference between information and facts. Facts are true. I love it. You're absolutely right. Information does not also always mean facts. So we should say facts. But, if you do your research, and I know that you do, Pioneer, and I'm saying that's in general, then we should get to the truth. And it's not always just one Google search. Sometimes you have to keep looking and searching and reading to get the information. So I love it for you pointing that out. And Mr. D. Rob, you said, I'll take African diaspora news and independent journalism over CNN, MSNBC, or any network Roland may create. And at least I know I'm getting true information and opinions and not teleprompter reading, right, of what they send to him from wherever they are. Talk about this, And so I agree with you as well. And Laughing Stock says Stephen A. Forehead is from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Terry says we already have voting rights anyways. This is not a non-issue today. How many of us don't have IDs? We can do literally anything we want. We can certainly deal with whatever law they're trying to create. Let me just say this really quick. So I now live in Texas, and I did everything I thought I did, to register to vote. And I got this in the mail when I got back from Las Vegas. And it says I need to refill this out because my signature was missing. And I know for a fact when I went to vote, because I moved, that I had to redo it, and I signed. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I'll do it again. But it really is of no importance to me at this point, if I do or I don't, So is there some suppression going on? I don't know. So anyway, Brother Samuel, how you doing? He says, love New Black Media. It goes to show that you guys are doing the work, putting in the work, doing a great job. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And Terry says, they can't stop us from voting. That is true. And Baruch says, we've been finished. And Pioneer says, nickels are good for putting up a lot of false information and half-cocked second-hand garbage they heard repeated from somebody else, but they aren't known for putting out facts that have been verified because they know people know their audience, right? They know what they're going to believe and what they're not going to believe. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who get paid handsomely to mislead people. So good point. And Baruch says, it started in the garden. We've been done. Okay. Morning says, Demetra, what other day are you going to go live this week? I don't know if I'll go live anytime soon. I mean, here and there we'll go live. Like I said, if something else breaks, but Sunday is the place to be in the day of the week for now. G-Man, how you doing? He says, Dr. Claude Anderson said that's white supremacy wants to make blacks a permanent underclass. And he said that, 20 plus years ago. So we are already that, unfortunately, right? And B Sparrow Talks, you say, was Roro in the cha-cha line at the voting polls in Philly? Yeah, he's been in a couple of cha-cha lines and teaching the cha-cha.
Well, no, he was teaching the wobble. Remember that? That's what he told Hillary Clinton. Can you wobble? Can you wobble?
No, you're going to get a lot of votes if you say. I wanted to believe I was maybe watching an episode of SNL, but then something told me, no, this is
or Seinfeld or something. Yeah. It hadn't been,
crazy. And Mr. D. Robbie says it's the Fraternal Order Police back. If the Fraternal Order Police back any nominee, then just know that nominee is trash. They aren't backing anyone that's for Black empowerment. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we need to, do the math. Why are they backing her? And Terry, you say they will never achieve getting rid of us. They'll succeed in getting rid of the scourge. He says, but those of us who are conscious won't stand for that. Baby boomers are dying out, and that's just naturally, right? So, yeah.
Right. Well, I got an answer to why they're backing Ketanji Brown. They want to be on the right side of history. And as long as they're on the right side of history, people are going to look at the police and say, wow, you know what? Even though they murder Black people and stuff, they're not such bad guys.
Hogwash. And Jimmy says, we can't even stop our own people from calling each other the N word. Yeah, I mean, we can't stop us from doing that. I agree. I mean, it's kind of like second nature to a lot of us. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Terry says, I'm okay with black. I'm okay with black too. Am I that far behind? Okay, let me catch up. And Baruch, you say the Bible is the only wealth for us. Okay, and you also say we need Yahweh. Uh, uh, and Bahasha Yahawishi. Ooh, I know I probably jacked that up, but forgive me. Jimmy says, I'm a Black American, not African American. All right. And Thunder says, actually, you can invest in Russia's stock market, and it would be a good thing right now. Their market is down, and some of their best stock is $1, $6.14. We can't afford this. Like ticker symbol, Lukoi, $6.96. I'll let Donovan explain that in just a second. Go ahead. Why is it a bad idea?
The Russians are on the ruble. Okay, so it is a bad idea. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you're not going to make any money because the United States is on the American dollar, which is based on nothing and it's faith-based. So if you invest in rubles, it's not going to add up to what you think it is in comparison to the United States dollar in value.
Absolutely. And so before I continue reading, I just want to say, y'all, that we have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. You can become a member, join the super chat. We would love and appreciate you if you would and could do that. Every little bit helps in supporting new Black media. All right, back to the comments. And Pioneer says, brother, the Bible is one of the chief reasons so many of our people are confused and delusional. I 100% agree with you on that. Obvious truths. You say, Dimitri, you are spot on with your observation about Black voting habits, the N-word, etc. I appreciate that. And Letitia, you say, there's a second Exodus. This is Babylon. Absolutely. And Terry said, as long as we're not lumped in with people of color. Yep, because that's what they try to do, right? That means everybody. Pioneer said the Bible has so many of our people sitting on the porch unless they're homeless, like so many are today, looking up at the sky, waiting on Jesus or some other savior to come and rescue them. Absolutely. It's like, nah, rescue your damn self, right? And Letitia, you say, I embrace by words. Okay. And if you can explain that just a little bit more for us, I would love and appreciate you for that. Brother Jonathan says, clearly, as with the history of immigrants and refugees, the bias, Ukrainians will be financed and set up in Black areas to organize their businesses to feed off of Black economics, which we foolishly give, supporting every business and everything and everyone but our own. Biden didn't do it for the Haitians. Politics as usual. You better believe it. And Marty says, enough of worthless line raccooning Roland Martin, because we know a snake when we see one, and you got enough sense. You stay away from him as he is part of the problem, along with Supreme Court sellout judge. Good point. And Pioneer says, first of all, you don't have the Bible. You have an English translation of Latin version. The Hebrews have the original one in Hebrew and Aramaic. Don't know what the hell you're reading. All right. And Jimmy says, they put the Ukrainian people in HBCUs. Yep. And Hampton was like, come on. And Baruch says, brown Judites need to help each other. And Honeydew says, can you explain why we are Black, non-Hispanic, when we choose our identity on paperwork? Yeah, that's a good point. So like if a job application or the census or something, it says, are you Black, non-Hispanic, Black, or whatever, because they really want to make the difference. And, keeping Black people, that does help keep Black people at that 12, 13, 14%, whatever, number you believe. So very good point. And a Damon, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says, Jim Crow Joe, straight don't give a F. You're absolutely right. And Darius says, Judge, quote unquote, Ketanji Brown Jackson is married to white boy, so it's no surprise. Yep. Pioneer says, Jesus didn't speak English. Jesus didn't say thee and thou and yet ye shall. Those are old English words and terms. Where is the Hebrew scriptures? And you can read them for us. And can you read them for us? Okay. Jimmy says, Russia has too many nukes. Yep. And Royal Nubian says, regarding Haitians, and we let it happen. And Jimmy says, our army is playing gender roles now. Yeah, exactly. But you see that Ukraine is not. They're like, take them damn wigs and heels off and pick up a gun, sir. And Damon says, sit this one out, Blackhurst family. It's a white fight. Yes, indeed. And Brother Samuel said, we really fulfill the story of Good Samaritan, hit the head in the Bible, who really don't know who we are and how we should be labeled. Yes, indeed. And Baruch says, look at sewage plant Ukraine. Ooh. Pioneer said, Brother Donovan, you are just enlightening me to a very important part. America only got involved in World War II in Europe to keep Russia from defeating Germany and taking the rest of Europe. Profound. Yes, indeed. Donovan sometimes is pretty profound. I will give him that. And Mr. Pirate Brain says, as Black people, we need to sit this war out. Yep. Mr. D, you say, I deleted quite a few Black folks from off of my Facebook because they're saying pray for Ukrainians. It's like, come on, are y'all serious? Really? So I ain't mad at you. Pioneer says, not only have I read the English translation of the Bible, but I also read portions of it in its original Hebrew and Aramaic. That's why I know what I'm talking about. Well, we ain't going to rock the boat with your brother at all. And Terry says, this Black woman is minding my own business. I'm not fighting for any of them. Draft been damned. I know that's right. And Damon says, pray for the Black First Family all day long. And Brother Donnell says, don't forget Biden bombed Somalia and the media highlighted Ukraine over that activity. Black people must recognize we are our own alliance. It is for us, for us. We must do for self and organize our economics. Help the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, whose vision is beyond an airplane, but land, schools, business, etc. We must do for self or else be the slaves. You better preach. And NIE says, we need private land, my people. Yeah, that's what they're doing for the indigenous people in California. They're giving them $100 million to buy land. Above and beyond, how you doing? He says, how can an effeminate nation, USA, stand toe-to-toe with a masculine nation like Russia? Not gonna happen. Good point. And Damon, he says, United States of America, the #1 imperialist. I'm done. Pioneer says, it's easy to sit around reading and quoting and arguing over scriptures when you got a full belly with the white man feeding you and housing you and keeping you warm. Oh, you throwing some big rocks, brother. Mr. D, you said, Janiyah, I say talking to Janiyah, and Marcus, welcome to the chat. He says, don't mean to bring the negative spin on all this time, but we talked about all the amazing things we could do to help our people, help ourselves as a people, yet we can't even do the simple things that require a little effort to take control of spending our dollars, even targeted spending to boycott organizations that had the power to defend us based on our value as a customer, simple things. Oh, please give that a little conversation. So you're talking about us withholding our Black dollars for corporations like Target and everybody else who will organize on behalf of people who don't live here per se, but they take our money on Juneteenth and Black History Day. You know, they cater to us in that way, right? But no, you're absolutely right. But I mean, that's a conversation we do need to have. But again, as I said it earlier, we need to start listening and stop saying, well, where else are we going to shop? Well, what else are we supposed to do? You know, it's like, oh, that is so exhausting. I kid you guys not. And Thunder says, I start thinking Putin was telling the truth about Nazis in Ukraine. Dimitri K. and Donovan, look up Ukraine, MRE, and tell me what does that insignia look like to you. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Okay. And Moni, so you said Donovan, trucking the difference is if you take out a student loan for that, most of the companies that you get hired with will pay back either all or your loan, or at least 85 to 95% of that loan. Good. Okay. And Brother Donovan says Biden's solution for Blacks is crack pipes. His solution for Ukraine is cut the check and move them in. Absolutely. That's not feeling says Pentagon already simulated a war with Russia or China, and U.S. lost both times. Absolutely. And you guys, if my feed looks like it's getting weak, it should come back. So I do apologize.
No, it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. Keep going.
Cool. And B's Sparrow Talk, he says, pull your resources together with family and close friends, Black folks, but don't trust just anybody. It's about to go down. Yep. And that's a solution. Start with those closest to you first. And Sean says, one thing I know, white Democrats are going to vote heavy against the Democrats this year. Like I said, I've talked to a few white people says they ain't going this time. They're going the other way. Iris Chu says, I appreciate you not leading our people over a cliff with the lying narratives of MSM. No, I mean, I want to, and I know Donovan as well, want to be as factual as possible. We try our best to. Pioneer says, white folks are building ships and trading all over the planet, building planes and going to outer space exploring, and nickels are sitting around in a jailhouse dissecting the Bible and what it means. And Baruch says, now you see bootlegs love America. Yes, indeed. And Moni said, Donovan, I still say when this man, it said he was going to cover student loans at a total of $10,000, which is BS. Let's be clear. Why would you only make it available to low income and everybody else as well? And Damon says, it's been going down. Prepare food and have your 2A on the ready. Absolutely. Prepare.
Yeah, real quick back to Moni. Moni, I'm not sure. I think you're listening to the talking point after he got elected. When he was on the campaign trail, he was talking $50,000. Don't let them whittle it down. It was $50,000.
Sure was. Pioneer says the same scripture that tell you that the U.S. is Babylon and Armageddon is on its way should tell you how to cure your disease, turn your gay children straight, and how to build a home for yourself. Okay, lightweight, how you doing? Says black people will come together quick when they say they're sending our sons and daughters to war. You ain't lying. And Jafia, how you doing? Says good evening, D and Donovan and all else. Yes, indeed. And B Sparrow talks. Says I stopped voting after Obama, and voting over and over again just to get no results is insanity. You better preach. And Baruch says these demons go against the word of the Bible. Mark and Dusty Hotep, he says, leave that man alone in Thailand. He's not doing anything wrong. So you talking about, I forget his name, but the guy is talking about Zoom to Thailand. Hey, somebody asked me to talk about it. So I know some people were kind of mad a little bit about it. Forgive me for that. I was just giving my own personal observation. And Lorna says, Donovan, isn't Somalia having been taken over by Arabs making money? Many Somalians and definitely identify more as Arabian than black is what I seen years ago. Is that not correct? Biden, one term out now.
Yeah, no, Somalia is definitely very, very pro-African. They don't identify as Arab at all.
Absolutely. And the Pioneer says, I'm not religious. However, I have no problem working with Christians and Muslims as long as we're on the same page with the same goals. Keep your religion to yourself and focus on the objective. I agree with you. And let me put this up here. Brother Samuel, there you go. Bam. So y'all can go and look for things regarding the media of, I.org. And Queen, now, how are you? Says, where the freak is Dr. Fauci? Where is he at? He said he was retiring. He was like, shit, I'm out of here. They got all these other variants coming. I'm out of here, right? But yeah, good point. And Baruch, you say they do not want to know. Sunlight says, can we have more commentary on how to create self-sustaining communities? Yes, indeed. I'm going to try to get to the rest of these comments and we can talk about that. Donovan, don't let me forget, along with the twerking mamas in the gym. And Jafia, and along with
got 4 minutes, so go ahead.
I got you. And Jafia says, I would love to know where Marcus Garvey never stepped foot in Africa. He said, why he never stepped foot on Africans' soil. Well, for I think he meant soils. Well, for one, he was arrested, and then he was deported back to, was it Jamaica? Isn't he buried?
Yeah, no, Jamaica.
Where is he buried?
I don't know where he's buried, but I know he did some time in jail, and then they deported him back to Jamaica.
So, but he was here trying to organize us to do that. And of course, y'all know the story. He was sold out. So anyway, let's see here. And Baruch says, run a race and see how fast brown man and woman run to get to the red rot. What is that? Pink man. And Glorious, how you doing? He says, hello, Demetra. And Donovan, it's been a long time. Yes, indeed. And welcome on back. And let's hear, Brother Jonell says NFA Studios. And I'm going to put this up here as well. You can also find the app in your Play Store via your Android or iPhone. I have it downloaded on my phone as well. So I'm leaving it up there. And Brother Terry, how you doing? He says, Noah warned of the flood for 120 years. They thought he was crazy, but the rain came down. This is the mystery Babylon speaks of in Revelation. We must study the time and what must be done. Yes, indeed. And Pioneer says, absolutely. Queen Atlanta used to have a saying, a city too busy to hate. If you're busy building and making things happen, you don't have time to sit around and crying about how folks are treating you. Yes, indeed. And Kiki says, not all prophecies have a time frame. Anyone who believes in the Bible knows that some prophecies in it would be thousands of years beforehand. You can definitely see extraordinary things taking place in this land, in this world. Not every fall is instantaneous. Some of them are over a period of time. Just keep paying attention. Prophecy about America is definitely at hand. Well said. Laughing Stock says Joy Reid is Congolese and Guyanese. And Capricorn says, yeah, I heard about and it cut off. Pioneer says, I think building a community starts with uniting like minds. Find a group of at least 20 adults who are intelligent and righteous. Then buy at least 10 acres of land and cultivate and build housing on it. And Brooklyn's feminists are doomed finally. Okay. And let's see here. I'm just going to skip to some of these so I can get to the end because y'all got them rolling. And Jafia says, right, Donovan. Sunlight says, let's stop let's stop. She didn't want to let them bait her. The confirmation is supposed to be about her credentials. FYI, I'm not for her. Yeah, I mean, now it was complete racism what they were doing to her. So big time. Baruch says, look at the news break. Feminists are being dispatched everywhere. And Pioneer says, to answer your question, Queen, honestly, no, I don't know how they vote, but I know they are white men, and I'd rather see a black woman in that position. She can't be any worse, or could she? I mean, what about Clarence Thomas? Obvious Truth say, I don't want.
And have you guys noticed Clarence Thomas has been missing since his wife exposed herself as an insurrectionist?
Oh yeah. And Obvious Truth said, I don't want any colored Supreme Court Justice of the United States that goes easy sentencing child pornographers. Yeah, there was some discussion about that. And Baruch, you say feminist caskets are building up fast. And the Pioneer says, show me an example of a position where a white man treated us better than a black woman. Okay. Terry says, I love good men. I don't care about color. All right. And Jonelle, you say the man that beat all the women, the imposter, they need to hook all these men who desire to act as women to a pain simulator so they can have the full experience, cut them each month so they can bleed each month. They only want to claim without the pain of womanhood. You ain't lying. And Jafia says, Kwame Brown, I think you meant, he says, record proof. Oh, no, not Kwame Brown. Katanji Brown. Record proves that she will be a Clarence Thomas in a skirt. Yes, indeed. And Blue Dress, how you doing? You say identity politics is why we're in the place we're in. A pack of women without politics that would be in our favor makes no sense. Please stop. I love it. And why of Israel? How you doing? It says Biden made sure Ukraine is taken care of. We can't get reparations, and the U.S. has money to give away. Good point. Damon says they don't want a real black person on the Supreme Court. Studio says abortion in America has turned into black genocide. Darius says thanks for the mention. Sister K, that touched, surprised, and humbled me. Aww. And the Pioneer says, I'm not a Democrat. However, I have no problem with a woman getting an abortion for medical reasons or saving her life. That's her choice, and she should keep it. Okay. And Damon, you said no vote, period, black first family. And Thunder says feminists wanted to be equal to men, and now men are same equal as to women. Now enjoy that equality. You demand also that new judge. If she can't define what a woman is, how do you know she IDs as a black woman? Ooh. Pioneer says some of these self-righteous hypocrites will raise all types of hell over a woman having an abortion and call it murder, but have no problem killing each other over $5. Now you treading on dangerous territory, brother. But you're right. Letitia, you says, what Spano's husband really well. This is to be expected. And Damon says the two-party system isn't always a straight dirt. Yep. Pioneer says, I support a strong black community. Strength doesn't necessarily come in numbers, but quality behind those numbers. And Baruch says, the weaves will be dirty, old, growing eyes stink. Okay, like always, Lord have mercy. And Damon says, a strong black community starts by keeping black dollars in it. Dr. Claude Anderson pointed that out. Yes, he did. And let's see here. Darius, if I didn't already, hello. He says, every brother ain't a brother, every sister ain't a sister. That's why it's essential to always use your third eye, mental and spiritual discernment. I do. Very well said. And Jafia says, LGB are making a movie about Billie Holiday, but it's not about her music or civil rights participation. It's about her bisexual. They're trying to make our sister the face of their community. Yeah, and kind of with the another movie that I saw about her as well. And Jonelle says their number one objective is to keep us in a mental state of crawl, a horizontal mind engulfed in ignorance and degradation. Everything but elevation is served via the white media. Black people, no matter what you Google or black subjects, white people are presenting, serving whitewash, running interference to our people. Google any subject. Yep. And Royal Nubia says Black American / African American. There goes the division again. Mm-hmm. And Pioneer says, if we're building a community from the ground up, first institutions would be a security force / police to keep order in the community and protect what we build. Yep, we got to police our own people. Facts Not Feeling says, Donovan, the ruble is increasing. Russia did just jiu-jitsu move on the U.S. dollar with taking payments only in rubles. The dollar is big trouble. There are articles already being written about it. And Kara, how you doing? Say, hey, fam. And the Pioneer says, no sense in building a black business is only for them to be robbed by other black people over days of building a black hospital for only drug addicts. See you tripping to rate it for dope. We need our own police. That is very true. And Damon says on point, Pioneer. And And Baruch, you say GMS, the True Brothers. Pioneer says, what you say, Queen, sometimes Donovan is pretty profound, but keeps him away from cold water. Yeah, keep him away from cold water. Anyway, Thunder, thank you so much for the donation. I love and appreciate you. You says, thank you, Donovan, DK and Donovan. Family stock up, hard times coming. Yes, indeed. And so there are a lot of comments here. So I'm going to read through the ones that I did not see yet, just for the sake of time. I thought I was going to be able to outread y'all, but y'all typing. Arson, how you doing? Say, hey, guys, sorry to super late. I hope you are both good this week on a popular white French-Canadian radio show up here. They were discussing Ketanji Brown and being asked the definition of a woman. I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on this and her answer. What do you think? Sorry if you already covered it. Well, we really haven't already covered it. I just really think that she is, being appointed by a Democratic president, and they are big on LGBTQ and the trans community and all of that. And so she doesn't want to be politically incorrect by saying, as Dave Chappelle and what is her name? She writes the Harry Potter books. J.K. Rowling said, gender is a fact. I'm going to leave it right there. And Jeremy has a Reagan. How you doing? He says, don't believe it, Demetra. How many of those white people told you it's terrible what happened to Trayvon Martin, but still voted to let Zimmerman free? You better preach. Pioneer says, one of the reasons so many of our people act up and act a fool in these streets is because they don't have enough to keep them busy. Elijah Muhammad said, keep them busy and working. Good point. Explicit Mind says, so many are aware, trolls, non-existent. Keep it up, Demetra and Donovan. We shall. Thank you. And Brother Jonell says, at this point, there are these various white nations of pirates, especially European Zionists, on America's fighting for their survival. Like the game, risk, they're all at war. Our earth and rule of its resources and territories, which none of them will remain to have any dominion over. World War III will be free humanity. And Artemis, how you doing? He says, do you think that we will reinstall the draft now that the empire is threatened? I don't know, Donovan.
Absolutely not, because now these women that want to be modern and equal, what, the draft and go fight? I don't know how many of you guys saw, there was an Army female, and she was scared because she didn't join the military to go to war, and now there's a possibility of it, and now she doesn't want to be no part of equal to a man. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Explicit Mind, you crazy. Talking about Fauci is a variant. Jafia said he's buried in Jamaica. Okay, so thank you for that. Talking about Marcus Garvey. And Yashawn, how you doing? You said Somalians go as far as identify as carcass mountainers. Oh, okay. And I'm assuming that's white people. And Jafia says he went to Jamaica, then to England. Yes. And when he married a whole white woman, but he never went to the land where he was pushing everybody else to go. So I never heard that whole white woman thing. But again, I mean, if you see that he had kind of a hiccup trying to get there. And I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Marcus Garvey being an Asian and all of that, but I tend not to be one of those people who believe that. And Jonelle says Marcus Garvey is buried in Jamaica. I was blessed to visit his grave site with the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, who paid homage to him and placed a wreath on his grave site. All praises is due to Allah. Absolutely. And Bogani said they can never be a healthy Black community until each of us practice self-love first. Very, very good point. And you also say otherwise self-sabotage is very real. Yep. And so let me see how many more comments do I have till I get to the end. I'm not close there yet. So anyway, I'm going to, I see y'all saying thank you and all of that. You know, it's our pleasure. Sorry I was not able to get to the comments. Today is the first day that you guys defeated me in reading these comments. But you know what? That's a blessing because more and more people are showing up to the chat. So we love and appreciate you. Yeah. Hopefully I read everybody's comment, but I want to say this, Donovan, what was I supposed to touch on?
The women twerking.
One of the women twerking, but I think it was Sunlight and Marcus. Y'all kind of had the same observation. So I think, well, what is it that we do from this point? As I always say, we need to educate the people who are closest to us. I tell you guys, my father all the time. He's been FOI since he was 19. He has educated my family, my siblings, my mom and everybody around him. And so we have to do the same thing, educate the people who are closest to us. Let's stop trying to go out there and save the world before we save ourselves. We should be telling ourselves, because I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, stop expecting white school sisters and everybody else to teach you about yourself and to do right by you. When we start doing right by ourselves, then everything will fall in line. But you can't expect to get something from somebody else that you're not giving to yourself. It's just really that simple. So we could teach ourselves about economics and group economics and building and starting businesses. And the other thing I will say is this, is when somebody comes to you and say, hey, I got a great business idea. What do you think about investing in this? Don't be so quick to say, I don't know about that. But if somebody white come up to you talking about, I got some Amway businesses or, you know, something else to sell you, some Herbalife, you jump in with 2 feet. So when your brother or your sister come to you say, hey, how about buying a block or a house in every neighborhood? Actually give it some thought and get into it and stop being so quick to tell them no and tell white people yes. That's one way that we could start nation building right here, right? And the other thing, as far as, you know, the women twerking, and I want to say that loosely women, because that I don't even know what that is that would do that. But as I said in the video, you guys can go check it out. We got to start holding each other accountable. I know that's a critique that Black men have of us as Black women, is that we don't hold each other accountable. We should as much as we can, but I think definitely that behavior needs to start being shunned. I don't know what it is. I had a pastor back in the day, RIP, was a great dude. He says, you know, he called it the call of the wild. He says, there's no doubt if you start playing some, you know, pretty salacious music, you know, women will just start dancing in an explicit manner. It's just something about it. And so I tend to believe that's true, but we need to start shunning that behavior. Like, where is that even classy to do, right? And then we're seeing, I saw one last week of women doing it at a wedding, and there's children. There's a little girl doing this. The whole time the bridesmaids were in there twerking, bend over.
And not just the children, the elders were there too.
Yeah, but they're all fours, you know, dancing like dogs, and no regards for the babies, like you said, the elders. But the elders, where were they? Where was that old grandma with her shoe that, you know, throw the shoe or, you know, kick one of them in the behind and say, nah, get up? That's not what women do, right? So we need to start calling that out. And I don't ordinarily like to post that kind of stuff, but I just really want to do a commentary on it. But we really need to stop, for one, perpetuating that. Because a lot of times people post that stuff as, ooh, look at them. But if you're not going to educate on it, stop posting it. Stop giving that attention. But I tell you what, if you're ever in a place where you see our women doing that, you sure as hell better call them out or try your best to shun that behavior. Because at this point, we are becoming just as guilty for allowing that to go on and not at least try to pull the goddamn plug out the DJ's, you know, record player, whatever it is he's spinning music on, right? We need to do something. So anyway, who else came on here? Gilvetta, how you doing? You say you missed it. Yeah, we're getting out of here. As you can hear, my voice is about to leave me. And TM1, how you doing? He says, keep it at the club and at home. Absolutely. Who else? Beverly, if I didn't already, how you doing? And I hope that I said hello to everybody who came on here. If I didn't, please forgive me. We will be back on here next Sunday. Of course, we will do our podcast Tuesday and Saturday. I didn't do this Saturday because I was out of town. But anyway, again, you guys will have a PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. If you want to donate to this channel, become a member, join the Super Chat. Every little bit helps. And again, we love and appreciate everybody. Next week, I plan to get to each and every comment if it's the last thing I do. But again, it's a good thing that I'm not able to. More and more people are watching. Donovan, what say you before we get out?
Hey, all I got to do is say it is.
Marcus, thank you so much for everything that you do.
Yeah, all I got to say, it was great to have our co-hosts actually hijack the show and get their voices heard and participate. That's what it's about, communicating and exchanging ideas. Because yes, Dimitri and I could sit up here and talk and listen to ourselves all day, but the show goes so much further when you guys participate.
Absolutely. So on that note, y'all, we are out of here. We will see y'all next week. Y'all stay cool and warm wherever you are. We love and appreciate you. See you next time. Peace. Hey, yes, and hit the like button before you go.